Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Inkling Performance Labs for From the Ink Up 100 post-migration from Under Pressure. It is so great to see everybody on this new channel with new faces. If you don't know me, my name is Carney. I am going to be one of your commentators tonight. And my co-commentator, would you like to introduce yourself to the crowd?
Hello, I'm Cheese. Haven't commentated one of these in a while. It's good to be back for this Cephalopod Centennial. Right now we have, I think, 51 teams getting situated and ready for their first of 3 sets. Which teams will be seeing face off first?
So the first teams that we are going to be seeing for this set is going to be Deep Sea International versus Crimson Raiders. So I do want to do a little point out here. They are our 22nd and 23rd seeds. So we're starting you guys off with something hopefully pretty close, maybe a little bit more actiony as we go along, because these first rounds are play all 3, and then our brackets are going to be best of. So we're gonna see these teams play all of their games. They've got 3 rounds to actively learn each other's movesets and get things done. So I'm really excited to see what they're going to be bringing to the table.
I'm excited to see these too. It's looking like it'll be a very close match, especially because these are, right next to each other in terms of seed. I'm looking at the results. Seems like one of them got, what was it? Was it 3rd a couple weeks ago? I haven't seen any of the other team's results from the Ink Up, but the other one seems like they could even take it all, if not just this set.
Yeah, but don't count out the other teams before we even start here. It's looking like we're gonna start it actually here pretty soon. Like you said, one of these teams has gotten pretty close to getting the getting that coveted first place in this sort of thing before. I believe it is.
I believe that would be Crimson Raiders getting 3rd in 95.
3rd in 95. There it is.
You can't cut out Deep Sea International, though. They've gotten great places in many other tournaments, such as 5th in Shark Tank Shallow Waters 25, and 5th again in World 9 missions 18 and 20.
Yeah, so pretty honestly solid results from both of these teams. I'm really excited just to see what these comps are going to be like. So for our map modes, first round, we are going to be going Undertow Spillway, Rainmaker, Umami Zones, and then Museum de Alfonsino Clamblitz. So pretty solid standard maps for these first 3 rounds. So I'm expecting to see some pretty solid standard comps, unless somebody wants to throw a curveball at us, which honestly I personally wouldn't mind, because we have Tangy on Deep Sea International, who is a Hydra main. So I'm excited to see if we're going to be seeing that Hydra here in these next couple of games.
I just saw the Hydra as well. If we do see that, I'd be really excited. I have also noticed Undertow Spillway, Umami, and Museum in Rainmaker Zones and Clams are very standard comps. Very standard map modes, I should say. I call them white bread of these modes, because these 3 are actually the first ones I think of when I think of each of these modes. They're classic. They're the default for a reason. They're all really wonderful to play on.
Absolutely, I can 100% agree with you. Now let's zoom into these teams here and see what we're looking at. So, like we said, we are gonna be going to... Ooh, hold up, there's a bit of a disparity. It says our next map is Rainmaker on Hagglefish. Let me look.
I don't think we play that map mode.
It is not, in fact, Rainmaker on Hagglefish. I believe it is Rainmaker on Undertow Spillway, as the Sendo.Inc. so gracefully has told us, which is okay. Sometimes there's a mess up in the way the displays pull the thingies, but it's gonna be Rainmaker no matter what. So get in the mindset for the Rainmaker mode.
We'll be seeing the rain get made no matter what. It's just instead of it being on Hagglefish, it'll be on Undertow.
Yeah.
There is one prediction I want to make beforehand, though. Do you think either team will be pushing left? Or will both go right? Or sorry, I should say pushing...
Oh.
No, should they be defending? Don't clip that out of context. I'm not that bad.
Okay. So, like, everybody on Undertow does tend to go left because it is the shortest, but, like, it's the shortest way in my personal opinion, but it's kind of, like, pretty decently hard. Think, like, Humpback Pump Track, because what am I thinking of? What's the word for it? Hallway. The hallway.
The hallway.
The hallway with the U-bend right there. Kind of a pain to push through, especially if the other team is, like, super defensive, has a lot of specials that'll keep you back, keep you on your toes. So probably gonna be a little bit hard to push through there as per usual, but I feel like a lot of people go that way because the right side way is kind of awful to push through, in my honest opinion.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Because it's like, it's just a huge uninkable ramp that's in your way, and it's like, the left side had that problem at the very beginning of Splatoon 3's life cycle because they didn't optimize the map modes, but like post-optimization, everybody be going left.
Yeah, it's just so much easier, even with the choke point. It's just, you know, it's not surrounded by verticality and an uninkable ramp. If you can get through it, it's a solid, 35 points and a straight shot to the pedestal. But you're realistically not going to do that. I'd even argue it's best if you even have the checkpoint on the left side and the Rainmaker's already there. It is easier to run it all the way around to the choke point on the other side instead of going up that uninkable ramp.
Yeah, and like sometimes I feel like if you get a really solid jump off of the checkpoint itself, you can even take the Rainmaker like around the U-bend, which I don't see many people doing.
That is an underrated spot.
It truly is. It's such an underrated spot because if you manage to get to that jump around the U-bend and you manage to stay alive for long enough, that platform right there gives you a straight shot to just instantaneously dunk the Rainmaker into the goal, which a lot of Rainmaker maps do have like the really funny jump cheese. Like I can think of, you know, Museum de Alfonsino, I can think of Mako Mart, like...
There's a couple other maps, but right now we're looking at this one as it's just starting, Deep Sea International versus Crimson Raiders.
Yeah, now let's take a look at these team comps and see if we've got anything funky here. Ooh, Decav spotted. And Tangy choosing to bring the zap. As we can see that Crimson Raiders is going to be bringing out that Wellstring as their backline choice alongside Double Prozen on both of these teams. But I do want to point out the N parries on the side of Deep Sea International. Hashtag N parries main.
I pointed at the decav at the beginning, hashtag decav main. Both of us seem to be excited about a different weapon on the same team, but we can't be too biased already. They're going for it, but unfortunately going down pretty much immediately. I'm going to be surprised if Crimson Raiders doesn't get every pop unless they start going down, which Tricky seems to be facilitating with a quick pick on the right.
Absolutely. Decav's a really good choice for this map mode, like 100%. Now, Deep Sea International is going to be having Crimson Raiders, my bad, has the Rainmaker in the lead right now. I believe our colors might be swapped. If not, then ignore me completely. Somebody's got the Rainmaker. They did not get it to the checkpoint. Opposing team now is going to be picking up that Rainmaker. Sippies are going to be active as we're moving forward alongside that Wellstringer. Really, really good play here to make sure that Wellstringer just has your back, but unfortunately you can't really win against a triple splashdown if you're the Rainmaker.
Yeah, you can't really escape from that in time, and it's not like you're shooting it down, so that definitely meant the Rainmaker's going down. They do rush right. Okay.
Ooh.
They just wanted a quick check. It didn't happen. Another example of why just go left is usually the better option. Immediately leading back to a counter push that seems like it'll almost immediately get the check themselves, and it does.
Yeah, really nice checkpoint here. Tangy from the back looking like they're charging up with those Sippies, pushing forward with Rosa here into that really deadly hallway. Unfortunately, does get down to that suction bomb. C53 here on that well string doing some really good movement to get out of the path of those missiles here. Craze.
Oh, and they have aura.
Is that how I spell that?
I am entirely unsure how to pronounce it, but either way, they have aura, and they've been just moving around, getting everyone they can. Pop still, of course, going to the team with the well string, though.
Oh, 100%. Like, I fear that's just common sense. If you've got the well string, you've got the pop no matter what. But, like, Nintendo's honestly crazy for giving Prozen the kit it has, because the Prozen on both teams have just been like absolutely deadly to either side. Now here we see that well string easily popping that Rainmaker, gets the stamp and just tries to just move forward here, gets a pick, gets another
it's a double, but a DC.
Like ooh, no.
But I mean, I'm sure they're gonna play it out still. They got 3 down, the push isn't over. Just means they're gonna be at a disadvantage for the rest of the battle. They're gonna immediately take a pretty hard lead. They're just gonna have to presumably keep it for the rest of these 2 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like Deep Sea International could keep it if their defense is tight enough here. Now, Sheep looking like they're going to try and just scooch forward with the rest of their team. Tries to get that triple splashdown onto Tangy. Tangy immediately moving back, but with Tricky in the vicinity to go down on Deep Sea International as Crimson Raiders picks up the Rainmaker, moving forward. Looking like they're going to maybe try to go for the left here as the rest of their team pushes forward, protecting that Rainmaker with their life. Really nice dodge out of the way of that suction bomb. Tricky here does end up getting the pick on Vince, but not before that Rainmaker goes down, but the bubble is out. Unfortunately, the splash damage from that suction bomb is what really did them in.
Yeah, I mean, this entire time, their goal pretty much has just changed to stop the bleeding and stop them from getting the points that the other team needs. And while they can try their best to do that, it just seems like the decav has been doing their best to force those openings and force those opportunities and force that pressure in and just really make sure they can get every point they can. That's already led to them getting straight to that hallway.
Absolutely, and C53 here is going to be bringing that Rainmaker back into that neutral position, trying to bring it back into mid to make sure that Crimson Raiders does not get their hands on it. Does end up going down. Now Deep Sea International, only one left up is Vince here. As we can see, Crimson Raiders is looking like they're gonna have the Rainmaker once again, gonna try and go for that push. Tricky coming from behind an unseen flank.
Entirely unseen until just back then. They put a bubble right by the pedestal too. Very good spot for them. They've been just applying so much pressure to everyone, both from the front and from the back, able to get another pick. Wow. Incredible push so far with 10 seconds left. They don't have the lead, but it's still with 7 seconds left. Anything can happen. They just have to pick it up and move.
They just have to get it far enough to make sure that that Rainmaker can get the lead, but that stamp is going to be coming out.
Will they?
Like
they do!
In the overtime!
Wow. With barely any health left, going straight through walls of bullets, they just barely managed to squeeze it out at the very end. As Crimson Raiders takes the first point of the set.
What an incredible push from Crimson Raiders in the very last couple of seconds of overtime. Like you said, their health was just basically donezo, but a really solid play from them manages to just sneak the win underneath Deep Sea International as we're moving in to our second map mode. But just honestly, really incredible push. Like, Deep Sea International in the lead for so long, but just that disconnect was so unfortunate.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up if they don't disconnect in zones, Umami, do you think that it'll go the same way?
I feel like probably, yeah, especially if they do manage to bring that well string back, or even if they bring Hydra. Hydra, I feel like, is going to be a really solid pick on this specific mode, because you can basically just station yourself on top of the dome and then just fire. And then no one can touch you, basically.
Yeah, they would seem pretty untouchable up there. In addition, I feel like the decav won't be able to do as much of the shenanigans that they were able to in the previous map. Not necessarily because of any specific structure, but just more so because they'll be a lot more on the lookout. They'll definitely be looking a lot more for those antics.
Yeah, but the thing about Umami is the thing that what makes it unique to the tournament settings is that dual zones. The dual zones I feel like don't appear in any tournament setting unless it's Umami Ruins, and that really just goes to show like how good of a dual zones map that Umami Ruins is, because the other dual zones maps that we have don't really like come up that often because of how funky they are, you know?
Yeah, they just don't make it work as well. But this one with the top mid right between each two super long zones on each side, it manages to do it incredibly well, and I feel like we're in for another great game.
Absolutely. Now, I feel like Umami Runes, especially on zones, it's one of those map modes where it's either 100 or it's nothing. You're either in the zone, like, just duking it out and barely anyone gets any points, or it's a lockout situation. I feel that way, like, especially because Umami Ruins is so easy to lock out on. I feel like it happens more often than not, but it's also got a lot of really funky architecture that you can just go around. Like, you can
Let's see how each team plays around them.
Yeah.
Sticking with the decav, let's go.
The end parries are still there. Tangy has decided to swap to the Headit, which is really a really interesting choice here because we've got the Dreadringer from Rosa. I'm expecting to see that, what is Tricky doing?
They're posing. Oh.
Oh.
They're gone.
I was like, what?
I don't think we're posing for the fans here. We're going to probably need a replay on that.
Oof. Internet issues abound tonight, folks. I'm honestly glad that my power is totally fine because we've got a huge storm raging outside. It was super windy all day and like it's been rainy and I was so worried that my power was going to get knocked out, but I'm here. I'm fine. But these guys aren't, not so much.
Yeah, I always worry about that when I'm commentating, where if some kind of lightning strike hits something and my power just cuts out and I suddenly just
Yeah, no, I'm always worried about that, especially now that we're going into like the spring/summer. It's more often than not that we're getting like super high winds and like super duper rain. The great news is that I live right down the way from the power guys. So usually our power's back on pretty
Oh, so
quick.
yeah, it's fixed really quick. I don't think everyone in this tournament might have the same luxury, so might be a little bit more difficult for them.
Yeah. I just really hope that we don't get any more unfortunate DCs in the last like 2 minutes of the match, because that's way past time for the DC rules, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'd much rather have a disconnect happen precisely when it did in match 2 versus match 1.
It's kind of interesting that Crimson Raiders was the one to get the disconnect this time, as opposed to Deep Sea International. It's almost like they're taking turns. They're like holding hands.
Oh my god, they're holding hands. Good for them.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking they're like passing the torch because they're just, you know, it's your turn, it's my turn.
Oh, kind of like a relay almost.
Yeah, like a baton.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm really intrigued by the specific pick of that Headit.
As a former Headit main, I do love to see it. It does mean they have a lot more paint, just more so in certain second intervals, I should say.
Yeah, I know that, like, specifically, you don't need, like, soda on zones, but, like, just curious. Heavy, like, Headit head at Nouveau is just a really, like, it just kind of makes you go, because I don't really see that one that often, like, as opposed to just the plain, like, vanilla head it, you know?
Yeah, I just feel like the head at main weapon is in such a strange spot because it doesn't have like a super long range. So like any charger is gonna bully it. It can't really be like as much of a backline as it would really want to, but simultaneously, it doesn't have like the super speed to be on the front all the time. So it's in this middle ground that like if you have cooler, of course, makes it a little bit easier to work with, but with Crab Tank, it just doesn't have as much, at least in my opinion, it just doesn't have as much of that like backline pressure as it would want to have, or frontline that it would want to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Decaf though taking a quick pick on the left, bringing them 2 down.
Oh yeah, 3 down in fact. Whoa!
Hey, 4 down!
Wipeout! As Crimson Raiders takes control of the zone, they are going to immediately move into that lockout position. Like I was saying, Crescent here taking a really good spot right where you want to be, deep in enemy territory here. But Rosa, with that reef slider, does end up getting the pick onto Crescent. But Craze just ends up splatting Rosa from behind, but 2 down on deep on
Crimson Raiders, yeah, as Deep Sea International takes those zones. One in the pit seems like they were trying to go for the Encore, but the Crab Tank was stopping them for now. Head it, of course, not going for the cool option. I thought they were that head it, but it turns out they are indeed the Nouveau. I had missed that.
Yeah, like I was saying, like really interesting weapon choice for this specific map mode. You really do see Cooler a lot more than you see the Crab. Now Crimson Raiders is going to be taking control of the zone right back into quick succession, but Deep Sea International has the lead for now, and it's looking like Crimson Raiders is just going to try and make it through those penalty points like you want to do. Tricky almost gets a really good shot onto Manaya here, but unfortunately the chip damage was just not quite enough. Tangy from the dome is going to be on that Crab Tank, riding it to victory as we see Deep Sea International try and take control of the zone, preventing a lead swap.
By 1 point, keeping that lead, making sure that push could not stay. The decaf on the left was providing just so much pressure, but they were just forced to back up after too much pressure, again, applied their own way. They're almost done with their penalty points, too, as Deep Sea International quickly extends their lead. Inkwell on the left bringing in 1 player. Triple Splashdown getting maybe a pick and half of a zone.
But that half of a zone was just enough for them to get temporarily in control of the zone, and even more so as they work through those penalty ticks. Deep Sea International does have 28 penalty ticks to their name, which isn't really a lot, but it could mean... it could spell out a lot of bad news if Crimson Raiders manages to swap the lead, and they do manage to swap the lead right before they lose control, getting back in control of it just as quick here. But it's looking like Tricky over here is just really fighting for their life here. They do end up getting a pick, but just beset by the members of Deep Sea International on all sides.
Yeah, they were really playing around that bubble really well. Unfortunately, they did get run over by a car, a reef slider, as the push immediately goes in Deep Sea International's favor. Those penalty points we were talking about earlier are immediately coming into play, buying Crimson Raiders at least a little bit of extra time to hopefully keep the lead, and if not, make sure that they can stop the bleeding before they lose too much.
Absolutely.
One going around on the left, wow.
Ooh. Getting, like you said, half a zone underneath their control. It's cheap with that triple splashdown. Manaya here just making sure that the zone is covered, which is exactly what you want to see from that roller here. Rosa trying once again to commit vehicular manslaughter with that reef slider there. Does not end up working in their favor, but Deep Sea International still has control of the zone. It's 22-35 now, but 2 members of Deep Sea International, 3 down, in fact, as Crimson Raiders manages to take control of the zone once again. Now they need to work through those penalty ticks before Deep Sea International can get back on their toes.
Yeah, and the pendulum swings right back to their side as their penalty points slowly start ticking down. Will they be taking the lead back? It seems like it, as they apply a lot of forward pressure. However, Commentators Curse might be striking right now as each team goes 1 member down, and they all start losing a lot of health. They are forced to back up a little bit, turned into a lot as 1 zone goes to Deep Sea International.
Yeah, but they are fighting for their life here. 3 down on Crimson Raiders, but Crescent still alive, manages to keep the zone in not even in their favor, but at least in neutral for the time being. Now Crimson Raiders looking to ink that zone again. 25-22, 3-point lead differential as both teams have just gone 3 down in quick succession here. Deep Sea International is on the back foot right now. They need to move forward into that zone and get it under their control as soon as possible. But Crimson Raiders is just absolutely on their tail with Cheap getting Vince down as they were popping that Trizuka, which is really unfortunate here. Now 2 down on Deep Sea International, 1 down on Crimson Raiders, but the timer is ticking down, looking like we're gonna go into overtime.
We are going into overtime with just a couple points left for them to gain. They have to get this zone back, and they have to get it back now. 24-23, they get another pick. They just have to keep it up. Their head, it needs to paint. They get a double, 23-22. You just need 2 points, and there we go. Bringing it out for Crimson Raiders, winning them the set with still another game to go.
Yeah, just another overtime win from Crimson Raiders. Just absolutely insane how they're managing to pull off these just really well fought overtime wins just at the last possible second lead swaps here. But I feel like Deep Sea International was so close to getting that one like under their control. Like Crimson Raiders was really fighting for that zone in order to manage to get it flipped in those last couple of seconds here.
Yeah, it was such a back and forth between the two. I wouldn't call it like 100% like a battle of 1,000 paper cuts, but it really was just take, back and forth, team to team to team to team. It really was anyone's game the entire time. And with that said, I guess I should ask, would you say because of that it was more their offense or their defense that won them that game?
I personally feel like it was more of their offense. I feel like they didn't have like a really they didn't have a noticeable advantage over Deep Sea International, but it was just enough of their offense was moving forward and getting those picks and capitalizing on them that they were able to just hold that zone for the indefinite amount of time that they did. And it really helped them, I think, to get that 3 down in the last possible second off of Deep Sea International, because the head, it was just painting and painting and painting all by themselves. And that's just, I feel like that's just really what won them that game, was at the head it was just not enough to cover both of those zones in ink.
I mean, yeah, if there's one thing you can kind of heavy to do, it's paint. And that was exactly what they were doing as their teammates ended up getting a triple, which I would also say usually helps out a team. This next map, I'm unsure if it'll be the same. We are changing host up a little bit. What
Just
is
to
the
make sure
third
we
map?
don't have... It is going to be Clamblitz on Museum d'Alfonsino.
Ooh, fun. I do like this map a lot.
Ooh, I cannot wait for funny box play. I love funny box play on Museum d'Alfonsino. Hopefully the host switching up will mean that we're preventing any more DCs from happening in the next game. Fingers crossed. But it's... Nintendo Online is a fickle thing, and DCs will happen, like, even when your internet is, like, completely perfect. So, not blaming anybody. I'm really interested to see, what these two teams have to bring us every single time, but, like, it really is just, like, I really like looking at the comps and reading into what people are playing, especially, when it's like an not uncanny, like it's just like a really like strange or like not well played.
An unusual comp.
Yes, unusual, thank you. I was like, I'm trying to find the words here, but they're not coming to my mouth. Really unusual comp picks. And not like unusual as like a bad thing. Unusual in like a tournament setting. It's like you're pulling out the Explosher. You're pulling out like Luna Neo, not Luna Neo, like Vanilla Luna, you know, like strange stuff like that I live to see.
That
Luna
is
Neo
something I love about this tournament. You just get to see some of the most interesting comps that you'd never see anywhere else. I think one of the more recent ones that I had seen or played in, there was a jet sculpture that was destroying. You literally don't see that anywhere else. This is something you only find here.
Wait. Like Vanilla Jet?
I think it was the Splashdown kit.
Ooh, huh. Interesting. I feel like I never see Jet Squelcher just like as a baseline, so it's always really nice to see somebody like bring it out. Or like Dowsers. Like if somebody brings Dowsers, I'm immediately like invested because it's like my squid in ink, what are you doing with Dowser dualies? Like
Dowsers are so fun though. On my former team, we played Dowsers.
Oh. I never actually, like, got the hang of Dowsers, so maybe that's why I'm kind of, like, confused by them, but, like, I'm an N parries and V dualies main, but I also main Gold Knot, which is kind of like a weird... Okay, Gold Knot, to me, is, like, the N parries of Splatlings. Does that make sense?
Yeah. You know, I can see it. I can see it. I didn't think about it at all until you said it, and now that you said it, I can see it.
I wish we got a third Nautilus kit. Like, I'm so sad that we didn't. Like, great to all of the other weapons that got a third kit, but in my ideal world, Nautilus would have a third kit with, oh my god, Burst Bomb and Crab Tank.
I want to see a kit for Ballpoint. I don't know. I never see that weapon anymore. Probably just since Pen's been such a thing. But now's not the time to think about Ballpoint. Unless they start bringing it, which it doesn't seem like they will.
Oh my god, are those Dowser dualies?
Those?
No shot!
Oh my god!
No shot!
Those are Dowsers!
No shot!
Let's go!
They hurt me.
We are kicking this right off on a banger.
Oh man, I never thought I would see Dowsers, and I was like, oh, they're not gonna bring Dowsers. There's no way they'll bring Dowser dualies to this. The humble Dowser dualies on C53, who we saw playing Wellstring just a couple of games ago. So like, kind of honestly insane comp switch, but I'm here for it. Now Crimson Raiders is going to be going 3 down. Deep Sea International has the Clam Economy looking for that 4th down. Rosa here has swapped to that blaster here, looking like they're gonna try and get that Clam into the basket. Unfortunately does end up going down before that though.
Yeah, the Dowsers immediately showed those strengths that they can play to with the deceptively long range that a lot of people just seem to forget about. They get 2 power clams in, unfortunately getting wiped out after that, but that's 40 points that the other team's really gonna have to pull back, like, now.
Oh, absolutely. Now, like, if you are gonna wipe out during your first push, 2 power clams in the basket is what you want to wipe out for, because that is an insanely big lead for your first push here. Now, Crimson Raiders does the exact same thing. 2 power clams in the basket, but they do manage to get another clam into that basket before they do end up backing off as the rest of Deep Sea International is up, which gives them a 3.1 clam lead differential, which isn't a lot, but it can, like, add up deceptively fast. Rosa here trying to get that triple splashdown to make sure that their space is clear for the rest of their team. Now, the Clam Economy is going to be in Crimson Raiders' favor here, but both of these teams, I believe, have a pity clam still in play if they so choose.
Yeah, both teams have a pity, but it seems like one of them might be able to use it a little bit before the other, as the Decav gets a double with Aura as a wipeout, lets them seemingly get another pack limit. Will it happen? No, they have to back up a little bit, and 3 immediately go down. The curse of the Commentators striking again. They might not be able to play their power climb as soon as they thought.
I'm so good at Commentators curse, guys. It's like it's one of the things that I am great at when it comes to my commentary. It's the fact that I am cursed. Absolutely 100% cursed. But you know what? That makes for great gameplay. Now, C53 does have a power clamp in their possession here. That whale is charged and ready to let loose at any given time. 16 clams on Deep Sea International as Crimson Raiders does have 5 in their possession. 1 down on Crimson Raiders, 2 down on Crimson Raiders. C53 gets a really nice pick onto Sheep now, going onto that spinner, looking like they're going to try and get rid of Crescent before jumping onto that platform now. Does end up dropping down to make sure that the rest of their team is okay, but Tricky is in play, but maybe not for long. Deep Sea International does end up wiping out, but Crimson Raiders is now in control of most of mid at this point, and now just immediately pushing up to ramp.
Yeah, the Decavitator found an opening, they dropped, and they made it work. From our view, it was a full jump scare. From the back, into pit, got a double, bringing it to a full wipeout for this team as they keep going forward. Those Dowser were applying a lot of pressure. Unfortunately, they were just stopped right before they could get what they needed.
Sheep is doing a really good job
my gosh.
on those dualies. Another wipeout. Crimson Raiders gets double clams in the basket yet again. Now, Tricky has the only clam in play. If they want to keep that basket open, they 100% can. Unfortunately, the basket does end up closing before they can get another clam into that basket to get that lead even further than Deep Sea International. But less than a minute left on the clock now, as it's looking like Crimson Raiders once again has most of the control of the power clam situation here. C53 gets a really good pick on Sheep, gets a really nice pick on a Tricky, moves forward, just getting really solid picks everywhere as Deep Sea International looks like they're gonna try and push forward, but they don't have a power clam built.
Yeah, these Dowsers have been able to apply a lot of pressure, they've been able to move forward super fast, but they just haven't been able to move forward with clams. And when they grab clams, it seems like that's exactly when their push has been ending. Crimson Raiders have been playing this, I would say, very dominantly so far, but it's still not over.
Yeah, it's not over until that power clam hits the basket. And as we have 15 seconds left until overtime starts here, Deep Sea International has the chance to get it going, but Crimson Raiders is looking like they're gonna try and shut down any sort of push that Deep Sea International has to offer as we're starting to go into overtime now. 1 down on either side. Deep Sea International looking like they're gonna make a break for it. Manaya going from the back with that power clam gets caught by Crescent here. Now C53 just on that platform by themselves. It's not looking good for the rest of Deep Sea International. Overtime is running out, and unfortunately that means that Crimson Raiders is going to be taking that third game of the set. Absolutely unfortunate for Deep Sea International, but they do still have a shot for later games potentially
In the next few sets.
Yeah, in the next few sets, potentially maybe getting up to silver bracket. Like, it ain't over till it's over. Don't count these guys out just yet because we saw some insane Dowsers gameplay. Holy crap. I've never seen anything more beautiful in my life.
Dowsers is one of those weapons where if you make it work, it always looks sick. I don't know. It's one of those where it just feels awesome. And like we just saw here, they managed to really show the value that they were getting every time. And even though they ended up losing the set, what I can say is they made sure they could show the potential they had in their future sets, which I will of course be rooting for them for. Absolutely. They had some great, especially in the beginning, they had a really good push with their 2 power clams, and they were consistently able to stop the enemy team, just not enough.
Absolutely, and with that, we're going to be taking a little bit of a quick break while we get the next set ready for you guys. Don't go away. Make sure to grab a sip of water, grab a little bit of munch if you want to. We will be right back with more from the Ink Up. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to From the Ink Up 100. Carney here with Tiger. We are ready to hop into the second round of our group stage. Tiger, would you love to introduce us to our next teams?
I would love to. So for our round 2 best of play all 3 set, we are watching Shipwreck versus TI-84 plus CE graphing calculator. Apart from having the best name in the entire tournament, sorry for the bias, I've been looking at their comp, and I see a tent, and if it is a tent, I'm going to be happy because I love watching tent games.
Ooh, I also really like watching tent games. I'm really excited to see if we've got a tent on the field. Now, also looking, if it's Ray you're talking about, I can see that they also have Sorella listed underneath their weapon pool. Now I was poking around a little bit in Shipwreck's comp. Sorry guys, I'm poking around in your team comps here. They have another tent.
Is this going to be a 10v10 game?
There are 2 tent players in this round.
Oh my gosh. Do we see them?
Ooh.
We see one of them.
One of the tents is going to be coming out, but I do want to point out the use of Zimmy here on, I believe the side of graphing calculator.
On the side of graphing calculator, yeah. A bubble coming out pretty quickly, but with the Wellstring on their side, who knows how long that's going to be lasting.
Wellstring versus bubble, who would win? The answer will surprise you.
The answer will simply not ever in my life surprise me. The Wellstring, wow, good pick on the left as they immediately apply pressure back towards the middle.
Absolutely, doing a really good job of just holding that area as the rest of Shipwreck manages to get a bunch of clams in their possession. Looking at that clam economy, it is 13-5 now. We have a power clam from those order replica dualies here going into that little death pit area where that basket lies for Shipwreck. But just graphing calculator doing a really good job of holding that area and pushing the rest of Shipwreck back. Now 2 down on Shipwreck means that graphing calculator is going to be looking like they're going to try and build a clam on the spot to throw it into the basket. We are just searching for clams at this point. The Carbon easily tossing it in before going down.
Very good push starting on TI-84's side, I don't know how I'm going to be shortening that name, but what might be cut short as well is their push. Seems like they just have to back up to stack for now, but who knows how far they'll have to fall back. I will say, though, getting there was no easy feat, and they managed to make it look easy. They just knew how to stop everyone else in their tracks. They knew exactly what they were going for, and they just knew how to make sure they had to back up.
Absolutely. I feel like it's going to be pretty hard for Graphic Calculator to be pushing in, especially because Shipwreck not only has the tent, but the well string to back the tent up. And that is a lot of chip damage coming over towards Graphic Calculator from Shipwreck here. Now, Sneck doing a really good job holding that platform like we saw in those earlier couple of seconds of the match. Carbonic here on the Carbon, quite a fitting name. Built a clam, tosses it to Deer, moves forward, guts, really nice sippies here. Gets a really good pick onto that tent,
Ooh.
just immediately going for blood here as they move forward. Getting a Trizuka, not really finding any picks, but Graphic Calculator easily able to break that barrier and start funneling those clams in.
Yeah, and immediately they get to start another push with that pressure applied, even though, of course, that Zuka didn't find purchase in anyone. It did find displacement, which just bought them a lot of time. Unfortunately, they do immediately go 3 down as I talk about the strength of their push. I really got to stop doing this, guys.
It's okay. You're just about as cursed as I am, and that's totally 100% fine. I love to see the kind of funky plays that comes with the territory of Commentators' curse here. Now, Miko here on that crab, just trying to push the rest of Graphic Calculator away from their basket area. Just really getting some good movement in here. Almost goes down, but does not. We do see a toss from Sneck here. Does not end up doing much of anything, but it's enough to keep Graphic Calculator out of their platform for now. But I feel like we've got a flank behind them here. Carbonic just really wiping out the rest of Shipwreck just like that.
Yeah, Carbonic immediately has aura as soon as they go forward. Getting, I didn't even count the amount of kills they have, but it was definitely enough. We saw a wipeout. Another push is going in their favor as they get another pick. Wow. This game has been very much so in their favor, and it seems like they might just have it.
Absolutely. It is looking like Nub already has another power clam built, ready to be tossed into that basket as soon as the basket goes down. They are just waiting for it to go down at this point, but at this point, I feel like they're just kind of putting salt in the Shipwreck's wound here. 3 do end up going down on Shipwreck. Sippies are out as we begin to toss even more clams. We're just finding clams in odd places here to try and get that knockout scenario going.
They have enough to do it. They just need to throw them in, and it seems like they now have the time and the power to do it, and they immediately make the most of it, getting them the first point of the set.
Just a really incredible knockout from Graphic Calculator. Honestly, I would say they were kind of fighting an uphill battle to like break through Shipwreck's defenses, but then Carbonic sweeps in with that amazing wipeout sharking from the Carbon like you typically see on Carbon Roller players, and it was just beautiful. It was poetic almost.
It really was. They knew that if they just kept, doing exactly what the enemy team wanted them to do, the enemy team could just kick into glow gear and just push them right out. And I feel like that Carbon realized, I'm going to swim forward. They don't know where I am. They're not noticing any Ninja Squid shenanigans. I'm going to be Schrodinger's Carbon. I'm going to be both everywhere and nowhere at the same time until they walk forward, in which case that is the wrong location, no matter which place they go. They always made the most of any weakness they could find.
Absolutely, and that's 100% like what makes Carbon mains like so deadly in these scenarios where you don't know where they are. You always want to keep your eyes on the Carbon no matter what, because one wrong move and you fall right into the wrong side of a Trizuka or a horizontal flick and it's donezo. Now we're moving on to a really interesting map mode here. It's going to be tower control on Ship Shape Cargo Co. Now, interesting because of the fact that I feel like you think of Ship Shape, you think it's a really lockout heavy map because it really, really is, but tower control forces you to play slower. You have to go the speed at the tower that the tower is going. You can't just, you know, pump like a bajillion clams into the basket and just be done with it. So maybe expecting a comp switch here, especially because Ship Shape's kind of a weird map to play around, but we'll see.
Well, it seems like we're going to be seeing a switch no matter what, considering one team's spawning in with 3 players.
No.
Unless they play it out. I'm not gonna be the one to say they need to stop the match. If they somehow manage to win a 3v4, oh my gosh. That being said, it seems like they might just be closing this out. One thing I'll point out though, while we're talking here, part of the weirdness of this map, I'd say, is the very end. I know that, especially in a lot of other modes in general, you can steamroll one push into a knockout, but the very last little hallway in this tower path is just always so tough to push through.
Yeah, like it's almost like a miniature Manta Maria. Like it's almost like just a mini like version of like the impossible push through corridor. But I feel like because of its almost like impossibility, it's a really good push, and it feels good when you manage to get that knockout, if you manage to get that knockout. The way I personally would go about it is when second checkpoint swings around to the right side of the corridor, when you have easy access to jump onto that stack, take it, use the high ground to your advantage, make a nuisance of yourself, and try and redirect the rest of the opposing team away from the tower. So that way you can have a chance at getting that knockout.
So many people just forget in general that you can just, many places that you can jump to the tower, you can jump to from the tower. And I hope that these teams use those as much as they can here. Seeing the tent back in action, seeing the carbon back in action, we'll see which one beats which one as we start match 2.
I do want to point out that we have a Tri-Nouveau on the side of Shipwreck. I'm unsure if we saw that before. I honestly was just more focused on the carbon movement. I'm so sorry here. Now, we are going to be not really seeing much else from comp switches on the side of either of these teams. Now, Nub just immediately doing what a duelie should do and popping, ready to pop the crab on the tower maybe here. Does get a really nice pick onto Sylveon as we're looking like we're gonna get that tower crab. Like I said, as we're moving into that checkpoint 1, you can't really contest with a huge crab tank on a tower unless you kill it.
Unless they do.
Unless you kill it.
Wow, that was, I have to say, a very well-placed shot to end that crab. It was a really good idea for that crab to just keep applying pressure, bully the person in the pit, but they just managed to get just irked out at the very end of that crab tank's duration. Almost getting check, unfortunately just bring it to 68.
Sneck tries for a stamp throw, unfortunately not able to find Deer Girl, who had already just moved to the side, manages to pop that bubble. Now Shipwreck has Sippies on the tower, which is exactly where they want to be. Now we're going to be trying to pop through that first checkpoint as they do end up taking the lead. Sneck has to pop out the stamp again to try and get tower underneath their control. Does end up finding a pick on Nub as we see that tower crab action once again. Miko here just doing a really good job of keeping that tower underneath their control, and now comes the hard part, keeping that tower as painted as humanly possible as we move deeper and deeper in enemy territory.
Yeah, I gotta say, I wish that my random duelie teammates could manage between the objective and pushing forward as well as this duelie here is. They are managing to simultaneously get on the tower and go forward and then move back when they need to, exactly when they need to. Unfortunately, they do go down as I talk about how good they are. Commentators curse striking once again. Maybe they'll get luckier next time.
Absolutely. Now we can see that graphing calculator has the advantage here as they're going to be moving in to try and take that first checkpoint. We do end up seeing that bubble pop, not Nub going forward alongside the Toxic Mist, which, by the way, really solid pick here. from Dear Girl with that Zimmy. I feel like the Zimmy is just the perfect tower control weapon here because of the bubble and the toxicness, especially on this map, can really choke out the rest of the opposing team. Now we see Nub on that crab looking like they're gonna try and maybe find a couple of picks onto Shipwreck, but they're not really finding much. The members of Shipwreck are just, they're just kind of like immortal at this point.
Yeah, they've just been avoiding a lot for so long. Even like when they have resources, they don't feel the need to waste them until they actually, you know, have a spot to use them.
Whew, absolutely. Sorry about that. I had to do a big yawn. Nub here looks like they're maybe going to try and pop Crab onto that tower yet again, but just wants to make sure that Lantern does not end up getting that tent right up in their business first. Unfortunately, it seems like one does end up going down on either side here. We see that Blaster trying to get any sort of support onto that tower that we can. Nub popping that
There's
Crab,
the bread and butter.
immediately goes down, unfortunately.
But that's best for them. They get a double immediately, and the tower keeps pushing as they get the lead. Painting up on the right side as they figure exactly moving forward is the better option, as they are trying to pick the people that are approaching them. Unfortunately, they don't, but they do instead get checkpoint 2.
They do, but Carbonic here just trying really hard to get any sort of picks that they can. Unfortunately, does end up going down as Graphing Calculator loses that tower. It's 17-13. Graphing Calculator in the lead. Now, last minute of the match is coming in hot. Now, Sneck just has the stamp to their name, trying to maybe find some picks in mid with that Wellspring, trying to paint support for the rest of Shipwreck. Shipwreck has got to move that tower into position as soon as humanly possible if they want to make sure that lead stays under, if they want to end up winning against Graphing Calculator. Now 2 down on Graphing Calculator, 1 down on Shipwreck here. Shipwreck has the Sippies in the back pocket, popped out immediately as Miko goes behind, tries to get a nice pick, but does end up getting picked off instead as Shipwreck goes wiped out in the last 10 seconds of the match.
Yeah, 5 seconds left. It doesn't seem like they'll be getting the tower back. I'm not going to call it until now, but yeah, there it goes. A CI84 plus CE Graphing Calculator takes the second match of the set, and of course, the set.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't really argue with a wipeout in the last 10 seconds of the match, plus the bubble on tower strat. It's called the GG bubble for a reason, and that's exactly the reason. You want to make sure that you've got the insurance to make sure that the other team doesn't take the tower in the last possible second for an overtime push, because we saw last set what those overtime pushes could do.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen in all of our matches so far the power of overtime, but it seems like this team has been trying their best to make sure that overtime just doesn't happen. And I gotta say, seems to be working out for them so far.
Absolutely. As we're going into this third match of our groups, round 2 stage, it's going to be Robo Ramen Splat Zones. Now, I'm really excited because I love this map not as much as I love Mahi Zones. Don't get it twisted. Robo Ramen is my second favorite map of all time, especially because as a dualies player, I love going underneath and causing chaos, and that's exactly what I'm expecting to see from these players on either sides. Utilizing the flanks, causing as much chaos as possible. I'm guaranteeing that we're gonna see Tent back, because Tent is immensely powerful on this map because it basically blocks the entirety of Elbow.
Yeah, it can just apply so much pressure just by being there. Is that the weapon's whole gimmick? Yeah, but it really makes sure to use that gimmick in that one spot. I also have to say, surprisingly enough, Ramen managed to be a map made in Splatoon 3 that has flank routes, and I really hope we get to see especially the dualies using them.
A map for Splatoon 3 that has flank routes? What is this, a dream?
Pigs can fly?
Pigs can fly? Wow, and nobody told me. Now, it's looking like we're not going to be seeing a comp change from either side, so sticking with the same old, bringing that tent, bringing the Tri-Nouveau for the Sippies. We're going to be seeing the Zimmy. I'm expecting to see that bubble on the elbow. Don't forget, elbow is key here for these plays, especially on this map, because elbow controls the lockout scenario.
Yeah, this blaster was getting a lot of damage and unfortunately not enough to get a pick, but it doesn't matter because they don't need to get the final hit. They have 3 other people to do it for them. Carbonic immediately in their natural habitat under a ledge, attacking their natural prey, that being the tent umbrella, before going down to the dualies on their own.
And just really excellent ledge play from that Carbon here. Graphing Calculator immediately moving into that lockout position. Nub looking like they're gonna try and get a pick on that tent. Realizes they can't. Moves away from the tent. Really smart move to just pop right back up into that elbow. Looking like they're gonna try and keep as much paint on the zone as possible. Graphing Calculator does end up losing control. And Shipwreck caps the zone in their stead. Now Shipwreck has the chance to do something really funny here.
A disconnect.
And oof, another disconnect. Man, Splatoon is not happy with us tonight.
But it doesn't matter. They get a wipeout anyway.
And
Will
they get a wipeout anyway.
I mean, they're playing it out. I don't remember the disconnect rules, but it seems like they might just take it anyway. They're keeping up a push, but it seems like, again, like the last disconnect we saw, because they have the lead, they kind of just need to stop the bleeding. And it seems like they're doing that pretty well.
No, absolutely they are. I feel like that Carbon is just really doing a lot of the heavy lifting here. Not saying that the rest of their team is just like not doing well, but just take a look at that. Double on the Carbon, looking like I think Flow Aura just activated for them as well. Now 3 down on Shipwreck as we are immediately back into that elbow with Carbon just getting pick after pick after pick, just immediately zeroing in on that Trizuka. Does not end up getting it. Stamp versus Crab. Oh, whoa! The Stamp just stamped off the side of the map?
But do they get the zone? They don't. Not yet. They do.
Oh,
dang.
Man. Oh.
What was almost a 3v4 win for TI-84 is now turning into a pretty hard fight in mid with a 1. Ooh, getting 2 at least before going down though with the Trizuka.
Oh man, I would be so embarrassed if like that was me on camera. Godspeed, you lucky Stamp player, because I just oof. That's rough, buddy. Shipwreck here has control of the zone, looking like they're gonna try and get their penalty points down. Lantern just really trying their best to get into that elbow where they are going to be the most effective. Unfortunately, it's looking like Shipwreck does end up going 2 down as Graphing Calculator, looking like they're gonna get back in control of the zone with just Nub alive in the moment, just running away from that Stamp. Does not end up going down to that Stamp, but the Stamp kills them anyways because Sneck is playing a well string, and that's really just how the cookie crumbles. Now Shipwreck is going to be working through all of those penalty points as they begin to tick that timer down. Now 1 minute and 30 seconds left on the clock. Graphing Calculator just has to go back in and cap the zone in order to stop the bleeding.
Yeah, Shipwreck has really been making sure that they aren't playing anything super risky, especially when they don't have to. It's a 4v3. You're going to have a resource advantage in every fight you take, so make sure that the fights you take are good ones. They do go 2 down, though, immediately to this Carbon, and a full wipeout. Wow, T84 plus CE Graphic Calculator. I'm never going to shorten their name when they're doing it right, because then I get to talk about them for longer. The Dualies going forward. They're trying to make sure they can apply a lot of pressure, getting a jump out. I don't think necessarily to spawn, maybe just to another teammate. That doesn't mean that they're going to be safe, especially when the Carbon is right on their heel. Getting another pick. Wow, they just keep going.
There is a reason why the Carbon is called a shark, the apex predator of this map mode right now, just diving and rushing through ink to get pick after pick. Now Graphing Calculator does end up working through those penalty points, and in the last possible second, knocks out Shipwreck in a 3v4.
To take a 3-0 perfect set. Wow. That Carbon had aura the entire game. Let's address the elephant in the room. The Carbon had aura the entire game.
No, absolutely. That Carbon was just like in their element here. Like pick after pick after pick. I saw just going, getting doubles, getting Trizukas, doubles with Trizukas, moving forward into corridor, getting just more picks. Incredible work. Absolutely. Just, You love to see it. Like, incredible gameplay from both sides, and the underdogs in this match winning with a 3v4, like, with a perfect set, too. Just absolutely incredible stuff, honestly.
Yeah, it was truly incredible to watch.
And we are actually not going to be taking a break. We're actually just going to be diving right in to this round because our teams are in fact ready for
they're
us
already here.
They are in fact ready for us to begin. Now, I would love to do the pleasure of introducing our last two teams for the group stage that we are going to be streaming tonight. It is going to be Obsidian Moon versus 5/4 Encore. Now, it's been a really long time since I have been able to commentate for 5/4 Encore, and I'm literally so excited to see them back again because you guys can't see it from behind the screen, but I'm doing like the heart hands at you. 5/4 Encore. If you are like listening to this like after the stream is over, just know I'm doing heart emojis at you. Now, Obsidian Moon is not a team that I am familiar with, but looking at their team comp, I'm seeing some real firepower that I'm super excited for.
I'm seeing Splatanas, I'm seeing buckets, I'm seeing blasters, I'm seeing a dynamo. I'm glad but unrelated, I'm glad Dynamo's powerful now. It deserves its chance. Anyway,
Yeah.
a lot of firepower here. I see a Pro Frozen. I see not Dapple Dualies, Dually Squelchers. Two different S-Boss options. I'm excited to see which ones they choose. You're going to be presumably rooting for 5/4 Encore. I'll be the one glazing Obsidian Moon.
I'm not rooting for either team. I am an equal and fair commentator. Now, I am rooting for one thing. And now, Tiger, because you've never commentated for me before, you have not heard this before, probably. But I would like to introduce our next map mode. That's right. It's my personal favorite map mode of all time, Splat Zones on Mahi Mahi Resort.
I gotta say, I also enjoyed this map. It's not my number one favorite. I'd probably say it's number 3, but it's up there. I don't know, it just feels right. Almost everything about it feels right. And I hope that the game that we're about to watch is just as good as the games I usually play there.
Absolutely. It's like, it's been a long time coming for Mahi Mahi. I feel like the map rework just made it like even more like immaculate to play on. I love the shifting architecture. I think we should have more maps with shifting architecture like Mahi Mahi. Like, I love to see the water level rise and drop. I love how it changes the flow of the game and how you play it. Like, it's just, she's perfect in every single way.
I do really enjoy the gimmick of the rising and falling water levels as well. It is so great to have on a zones map. It's just such a shame that Mahi Mahi doesn't exist in any other mode.
Oh my god, yeah, no. Don't even get me started on Mahi Tower. That's like, it's not bad to play on when it's like in an opens rotation, but like, I'm a dualies player. Guys, I dodge roll. You want to know exactly where I dodge roll?
Is it
Into
by
the
chance
water.
into the water? Yes, exactly.
Yep. It is into the water, without fail, 100% of the time. Even more enunciated during tower control on this map because of the huge pit of water in the middle of the map.
Fortunately, this isn't tower control, it is Splat Zones, and I'm excited to see how each of these teams take on the changing architecture here, as Obsidian Moon versus 5/4 Encore begins on match 1.
Ooh, looking like the decav. We're gonna see that custom, that Sea Blaster. We're gonna see the Dapples with the soda. No, those are the Dapples with Reef Slider, aren't they?
Yep.
It's
just a small enough zone. And of course, I had mentioned the decav. They're probably gonna have a little bit of difficulty fighting this Dynamo here. That's usually a matchup I struggle with. I'm gonna be excited to see how they manage it. So far, it seems like they're not actively provoking the Dynamo and they don't have to, which I'd say is a pretty good idea.
Oh, 100%. Not invoking the wrath of the Dynamo Roller, even with the Dynamo nerf that we got recently, is always a smart option here. Now, we're looking like 5-4 Encore just doing a really good job of holding the zone. It's looking like they're going to be kind of maybe left behind unless we can get a couple of really good picks. Now that triple splashdown does end up going down the Dynamo, looking like they're going to try and get some really nice picks onto 5-4 Encore as the Obsidian Moon gains control. But I think the Dynamo just horizontal flicked into the water.
I mean, I think they did, but I honestly say it might be worth it. They did get a triple, and that managed to keep them the zone, at least for now. They keep getting picks on 5-4 Encores. It's down to just the decav, and even then, they're just gone. Zone is firmly in Obsidian Moon's control as they push forward past Snipe, even over to the left, over to the right. They're really making sure to take where they can.
Taking the lead, and with that, the water level does end up dropping. The architecture has changed. Now Obsidian Moon, just like you said, really holding tight that zone. Super hyper aggressive gameplay here. 5-4 Encore unable to make it back into mid without the wrath of like 1,000 Splatoon wipers upon them. Red Shark here doing a really good job of just shredding through everything that comes their way. Now we do end up seeing Obsidian Moon lose control, but the Dynamo has something to say about it, and that's that it can cap the zone, but unfortunately the slowness of that roller means that it is going to go down, causing Obsidian Moon to wipe out in the moment. Now we see K here just rip the bubble in their back pocket, looking like they're gonna try and pop it onto that Snipe, and they do manage to do so. Really good place for that bubble, honestly.
Yeah, it seems like 5-4 Encore just made the most of the map when it expanded, and ever since they just got that wipeout, they've been taking all of the space that they can, especially the new space that was provided for them. They are getting jumps in, but it doesn't seem like they're going to be lasting that long with Obsidian Moon rapidly rushing back in. They just immediately get Aura 2, picks that I didn't even notice could be possible as they just keep on rapidly pushing forward.
And what else is rapidly moving forward but those penalty ticks? We do see that cap from that Reef Slider. Like you said, the zone's just small enough for Reef Cheese, and the Reef Cheese is going to happen whether you guys like it or not. 5-4 Encore here is in control of the zone, but with the painting power of Obsidian Moon on their side, it's just really looking like it's a struggle to even stay in mid. Like you said, Pine just with a really solid pick onto Red Shark here, barely managing to stay alive. 2 down on Obsidian Moon, 2 down on 5-4 Encore. We see that Reef Slider come out, but it is unfortunately time for them to go down as Obsidian Moon is in control of the zone once again, just getting those penalty ticks into the teams.
Yeah, they're managing to apply so much paint pressure, and I think a lot of it is because they're really, really focusing down that junior on site. I feel like if that junior was allowed to stay alive for even just a little bit longer, they'd be bomb spammed, they'd be just painted all around, there'd be bubbles everywhere they go, and they just wouldn't be able to apply as much just pure fighting force that they do, but they're really managing to deal with that junior, and because of that, I do feel that they are securing the paint advantage for themselves. They don't have the zone, though. With that paint advantage, they might be able to get it back pretty soon. It does lose control. Only for a bit, though.
Only for a bit, though, as 5-4 Encore just really putting the pedal to the metal, trying to get back in control of that zone. 3 do end up going down as the rest of Obsidian Moon pushes forward. It's 9-36. 5-4 Encore has to get it in now if they want to win this game for themselves here, as Obsidian Moon just holds the zone. Less than 30 seconds left on the clock. It is now or never for 5-4 Encore to get it into neutral, into under their control, in order to get it just anywhere close to OT. But that Reef Slider unfortunately does not end up doing anything. Ooh.
And a KO right before the timer is up. I was going to say, with about 30 seconds left, that would have been right about the time when I usually tell my team, guys, we have time, when we really don't have time. That is a time where they really needed to make a push, and unfortunately, that quick double made sure it didn't happen.
Yeah, it seems like 5-4 Encore was really staggering in that last, like, couple of seconds when they could have been just pushing in all together as a team. They did get 3 down on Obsidian Moon in the last possible second, but unfortunately it just wasn't enough time in order to flip the zone back into their favor to get that overtime push for them. Now it's looking like we're going to be moving into our second map mode. That is right, Inkblot Art Academy Clamblitz. Now, I have some thoughts and feelings about this map mode. I personally like the way it plays, but again, I am a dualies main, so there's no huge surprise there because I am all up in those bats.
I was gonna say, I also really enjoy the way this map plays. That might be a hot take. I am a decav. I don't know. Could be that. Maybe. Could be anything. Who knows? Point being, this is going to be a fun match for both of us to watch. Hopefully a fun match for both of them to play.
Absolutely. I'm expecting to see some really heinous, like, bats plays, hopefully from both of these teams here. I want to see, like, the stacks. I want to see people setting up on stacks. I want to see the ledges, because I did see that we had a slosher in the mix from Obsidian Moon. I want to see those ledges get played, like, to hell. Like, there's so much that you can do with this map and mode, and I feel like that's one of the main reasons why it is played in so many tournaments. It's because it's a really versatile place to be.
Yeah, I'd say it's the Clamblitz map, at least in my opinion, that allows that the most. And again, could just maybe be because I play a weapon that has a lot of fun on that map. But anyway, it's just, there's a lot of room that you can go. There's a lot of different options. I'm not used to that in Splatoon 3. I've said that before, I'll say it again. I'm just really glad that it's not a straight line.
We have far too many maps in this game that are just straight lines. And I'm not looking at Hammerhead, but I'm looking at Hammerhead. Hammerhead, absolute nightmare, especially for me, because I have a really awful time playing around chargers. That might just be a skill issue on my part, though, so don't take anything I say with a grain of salt.
No, blame the map.
Take everything I say with a grain of salt, but also I'm kind of blaming the map, low-key, because it's like, I honestly forget it exists sometimes.
Well, God, we're on one we both enjoy now. It's Clamblitz on Inkblot. Let's see if there's any comp changes. Seems like all's quiet on that side and on this one as well.
We're sticking with the same old from last game here. Now, moving in, 5-4 Encore, Pine immediately going onto the right for that flank, which is exactly where you want a dualies to be in that point. Now, Jones just really trying to get paint onto mid, and that's where you want to be in that first couple of seconds here. Gets a really nice double here.
But they're the only one alive.
5-4 Encore, but they are the only one
Wait,
alive.
no one's noticing them. Are they just gonna... What?
Huh?
Okay. Yeah, no, take it. You get a push there.
Sure, man, it's all yours.
You get a double. Who cares if the rest of your team goes down? They don't have clams. Go forward. You deserve it. You earned it. They do go down, though. The push is over pretty much as it started, which is to be expected. There was one person. But that is 20 points that they now no longer need to deal with. That is an early lead that they now don't have to worry about getting. They just have to worry about maintaining.
Yeah, they just gotta hold it and potentially get even more clams into that basket here. We do see Obsidian Moon does have 2 down, but they have control of most of the clams in the clam economy now, 14-4 here. Just really doing a solid job of making sure that the rest of 5-4 Encore just cannot be anywhere near Obsidian Moon's basket here. Obsidian Moon just has a really good grip over mid, honestly.
Yeah, they know where 5-4 Encore just wants to go, and they make sure to move exactly where they see it. Unfortunately, they didn't manage to hit that shot at the very end, of the Decav makes the most of it by getting a double. Going forward with one other person, they just barely don't make it to the basket in time, but that push is nowhere near gone.
absolutely. We do see a really nice power clam being popped into that basket as they do manage to take the lead from Obsidian Moon, which wasn't hard to do, but still really nice couple of clams into the basket, looking like they are just going to keep on coming. They've got a really good rhythm now, but Obsidian Moon's looking like they're gonna try and take it away from them with a 2 down on 5-4 Encore. Jones with that bucket just really doing a solid job of making sure that the rest of 5-4 Encore is out of their area. Going to pick up another couple of clams now. Symbolic has the missiles at the ready, looking like they're going to be popped any second, and they do get popped right in that second. Now, really nice trade off the Dynamo for the Dapples here as Obsidian Moon pushes forward. Stamp at the ready. Here it comes.
Wow, yeah. That one trade, I would say, plus those couple other things, just snowballed right into 3 down on 5-4 Encore's side and has allowed for an incredible push for Obsidian Moon once again. Dynamo dealing a little bit of chip into a kill as that push gets extended just a little bit longer. A double, a triple on the Dynamo's side as more clams keep on going. This could even be wipeout territory. That's a power clam, bringing it down all the way to 5. They have no clams left in just a couple more seconds before the basket closes, but they throw in a couple from nowhere, and the game is over before I even realized it could be.
Yeah, that's the trouble with Clam Blitz. It can go so fast sometimes, and Obsidian Moon just really showed us how fast that match can go with the immense amount of clams into that basket in that very last little push there. Like, I saw the power clam go through, bringing it down to 5, and then I saw the wiper pick up 2 clams and move forward, and I was like, yeah, okay, no, there's no way they don't miss those clams like in the moment. Like if they whiffed them, would have been horrible, but we saw them just easily, they just glided into the basket basically
Effortlessly. Yeah, I was just surprised they even found them. I saw the counter tick down to 5, but then I also saw 0 in the top of corner, and I was like, okay, so this might be possibly a you know, a really rough push for 5-4 Encore, but one that they ultimately could defend. And then that counter ticks up by 2, and I think, well, then game was over.
Yeah, such is the nature of Clam Blitz, though. It's usually over before you can even sink your teeth into it. And if it's not, then you're playing on the wrong map.
Speaking of really fast takeovers, let's go to Rainmaker next on Humpback Pump Track. As a decaf main, I'm contractually obligated to not like playing on this map, but I can admit with objectivity that it is very interesting and enjoyable most of the time.
Oh man, the bucket is going to have a field day on this map.
The bucket's going to enjoy this.
Sensing it. Now, Humpback Pump Track really just... If you are a bucket or a blaster or a roller and you hate playing on normal maps, then oh boy, do I have a map for you, and we're about to see it in the flesh, just live action. Now, Rainmaker, in my honest opinion, is the only good mode for this map, but I know some people have strong feelings about zones on this map, so I was gonna say, I could respect zones.
Rainmaker, I would say, I feel like is, you know, pretty cold take is just like the better mode for it. But I gotta respect zones. Let's see how much these players respect each other's plays from what they've been seeing in these couple games. They don't respect the rain pop. 2 go down.
Yeah, I was gonna say 5-4 Encore immediately able to take that pop, but just Red Shark with that insane Splatana Wiper gameplay from behind just immediately says, nah, this is my territory now. Now, Obsidian Moon does end up losing the Rainmaker, and with that stamp there, it's not gonna be lost for very long. Now, really nice stamp throw from Red Shark, and we're just instantaneously moving forward through that elbow. Now, elbow's usually the hardest part of this map to play around, but Obsidian Moon did not get the memo. We're immediately getting a pick on
oh, wow.
3 down on 5-4.
That's another wipeout. That's quick work as they just keep on going. It's done.
Oh my God.
It's already out.
Sub-minute? Was that sub-minute? Tiger, get back here. It was sub-minute. That was sub-minute gameplay for Humpback Pump Track Rainmaker. And okay, honestly, not surprised. I've seen it happen several times in my career as a commentator, but it's just still
I just wasn't
so
expecting it here.
incredible. I was just still so incredible to see sub-minute gameplay. Like, holy crap, dude, that was intense. We just saw like a swarm Obsidian Moon push forward, getting just pick after pick after pick after pick, lose the Rainmaker at the checkpoint. Stamp comes in. Stamp says, my Rainmaker now, pops the Rainmaker and immediately just throws the Stamp to get a pick. And then that pick spiraled. 1 pick, 2 pick, 3 pick, wipeout, and Obsidian Moon just took it, ran with it, popped that podium so fast. That was insane.
That was the entire match.
That was it. That was
You just did the entire match.
I just did the entire match. I just commentated the entire match for you guys.
That might have taken more time than the match itself. How? I'm still reeling from that. What a game.
Wow.
And what a set. Very dominant victory for Obsidian Moon there.
Absolutely. And an honestly incredible set to give us for our last set of our block. Unfortunately, that means group stage is now officially over on this stream here. So that means that you and I, Tiger, have got to be taking our leave to get ready for our brackets commentators. So I'm really happy to have you as my co-commentator. Here in a second, we're going to be handing it over to gold bracket for you guys. You guys do not want to miss this. It is going to be Falco and Saf on the mic, I believe.
We have LeBron and the Lakers commentating the next set of matches here. You will not want to miss it.
You guys don't want to miss it. But before we say goodbye, I would just like to say thank you for joining us for our group stage. If you didn't get it at the beginning, my name is Carnival. You can find me over at BSky, carnivai.bsky.social. You can find me over here on IPL. You can find me at Dapples. Find me at Splatoon Tourney. I've been doing Ludi this entire season, which is why you guys have not seen me over here. But most importantly, you guys can find me on Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, over in Waltham, Massachusetts for our LAN Championship Showdown Qualifier, New Inkland number 6. I will be there in the flesh doing commentary, and I'm so excited to meet everyone who's going to be coming in.
I'm going to be excited to watch that from my house. I'm Cheese. You can find me at cheesetiger.me on Blue Sky. In person, you can find me at roughly like 1 in 5 lands. Odds are I'll fly to one eventually. I'll be helping H-Town remotely. That's tomorrow, actually. Houston, Texas. That'll be wonderful to watch and wonderful to get clips and social media posts for. It'll be truly a wonderful experience. Highly recommend people watch that tomorrow. But for that is all I have to add.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being a wonderful co-commentator. And
oh no, thank you.
No problem.
We're going to be going into a break, guys, so don't go away. We've got gold bracket for you coming up soon.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to From the Ink Up. My name is Saf, and I'm here tonight with Falco. Falco, number 100, 100. In the times that we've known From the Ink Up to be, you and I have played in From the Ink Up. Shout out to Rebels for Reba. If you know, you know. We both commentated. We don't know when. It's been a while. We don't know when, but we both commentated for From the Ink Up. We both get to sit here in block number 2 to commentate the 100th one. It's really exciting. How's it going, Falco? What's going on? Ruffles Don't forget, we got to talk about Ruffles too. Don't think I forgot.
Oh man, you're putting so many topics into my brain. We'll start. Okay, we'll start with
you the itinerary.
I know the whole rundown for the top cut we have going on. No, it's good to be here. Yes, on IPL especially, moving from Under Pressure, and you mentioned that FTIU holds a special place in our heart. It truly does. This is by far my most played tournament. Just because
it might be for me as well. Actually.
Yeah, just because back in the day, at least like a year and a half ago, we would try and play, I would say, quite a few times, not every other week whenever it comes out or whenever it happens, but it's just kind of been our it's Friday, let's form a pickup, let's go have fun, because neither you or I are banned from any tournament, from a skill perspective.
And thank goodness for that. We
I
don't
know.
have our banned from IPL or banned from any IPL tournament certificate on our walls.
Exactly. So we get to have fun, and it's great to be here on the 100th edition. I remember when FTIU was just a little itty-bitty baby. So it's great to be back here. Let's move on to Top Cut. Dubious Yakitori Steakhouse versus Fruit Levers. We have a whole plethora of appetizers that are going on, and we'll take a look at the weapons. Nothing is jumping out to me specifically. I would say the vanilla splat roller, not one we see very often, but can maybe do some damage.
Right, and I believe earlier on this broadcast too, the Dynamo was really wreaking havoc, and especially the Dynamo heavy combination has been really popular lately, so no surprise that Dubious Yakitori Steakhouse is going to be bringing that out here on Shipwreck Cargo Co. Also, Dubious, I love the word, the descriptor word is dubious for Yakitori Steakhouse. Falco and I had to do a little bit of research before we came online. Yakitori is in fact a type of food. It is a Japanese staple. It's a chicken skewer. A grilled chicken skewer, for those of you at home that maybe are scratching your head and wondering. That's what's going on there.
So it's also delicious. I feel like I've had it a few days in my time here. Fruit Levers with a pretty early push to 91, but Dubious Yakitori, I mean, they had a 2-player advantage, tried to get on the tower. They're still continuing this push, and they are going to finally get it a little bit here. We can see Blue Jay here is just waiting for somebody in front of the tower. Always great to have a person in front of that tower, especially by the checkpoint, but unfortunately for them, they are going to get stuck here at that 66 mark. So it's still a better push than Fruit Lovers, but Fruit Lovers is doing a very great job putting ink on the stage.
Yeah, there is a lot of ink going down on the stage for Fruit Lovers, and especially on the respawn here, the tower is going to sail through to that first checkpoint with still not a lot of blue to show for it from Dubious Yakitori Steakhouse. We were mostly respawned back in and hopefully going to cause some havoc here, but still multiple members of Dubious Yakitori Steakhouse going down and actually in a delayed wipeout situation, now finding themselves lined up to get into the second checkpoint here for Fruit Lovers, and especially a really strong foothold in this court area. The killer whale's going to come out, but not really cause too much damage here. Pink Envy eventually is going to be taken out. That's K also going down, maybe taking a little bit of taking damage as well. But Fruit Lovers still very present in the middle section, Falco.
Yeah, I think they're going to want to try and keep up this pressure as long as they can, especially when you have players like K who are able to flank, get some key picks, making sure that you're working backwards to forward. They're probably going to try and identify where this heavy edit is now and take them out, or I'm sorry, the Splatling, and take them out. But again, just if they can play this neutral game for another minute or so, they're going to be very, very comfortable. I think Dubious Yakitori's Steakhouse now, again, what's tricky is they're pushing forward. Okay, they're actually doing a very good job now, finally getting somebody on the tower. I was going to say, they have a lot of bodies forward, but not much moving on the tower. I don't want them to get ahead of themselves, but I think they're going to do very well here. Unfortunately, they have to get all the way past this checkpoint that they got a majority of the way through last time, but again, still in a much better position.
Yeah, and I really appreciate the brute force of just trying to move your way forward to allow your players to get into position here, because now down to the 40 mark, looking at a lead switch here as well. You have Ross trying to bring help out Bubble in the front there and pushing 2 members of Fruit Lovers back into the backstage. Now down to the 33 mark for Dubious. Looking pretty good there. A 5-point lead is not really much. especially when you have a minute and a half left to go for Fruit Lovers. And with that cooler coming online, that's hopefully going to cause a little bit of a boost. But again, 2 members down. Fruit Lovers, unfortunately, is not really finding too much headway here when it comes to the offense.
Yeah, they're still struggling to figure out what they want to do here, especially when you have somebody like Roe who's just waiting and sharking. They know they're in a good position. They can just hang out there all day long. They still are waiting for somebody to get on the tower, but Cherry's going to sniff them out and push them down. So Fruit Lovers, they're in a better position now, but they have to get something going, especially with how much time is remaining now. Now, the good news is they don't have to get past that second checkpoint. They just have to get to it for them to take the lead. But I think Dubious here, they just want to wait and get one of their players in a key position. Tower's now going to be moving. BlowJay is going to be trying to use that Zuka to get somebody too, is going to be missing. But still, some other players going down on Fruit Lovers thanks to their teammates.
Yeah, the Trizuka, although not finding any picks there, super helpful with just displacing the members of Fruit Lovers because, I mean, all 4 members taking up that elbow position there could have been really crucial, especially having the higher ground advantage with Dubious Steakhouse being down into the court area. But it's still, once again, even with specials coming out for Fruit Lovers, it just doesn't seem like we can get those players into key positions for us to keeping the offense moving forward. I could be eating my words here, though, as we have a couple seconds left remaining here, but there's still a couple of players of Dubious, Yakitori, Steakhouse just well positioned there before Fruit Lovers could actually take the tower back into place. So with only a couple of points to spare, though, standing between them, Dubious, Yakitori, Steakhouse is going to take the first game.
Yeah, they just threw all the bodies on the tower at the very end to get the stop. And I mean, don't let that paint fool you. The paint went back and forth between both of those teams. Fruit Lovers, though, again, they did a very good job recapturing a lot of the paint as soon as it went into Dubious Yakitori's favor, but they were able to just keep up the pressure. Now, unfortunately, it wasn't going to be enough. Remember, now that we are entering Top Cut, it's still a best of 3 in this first round, and we're going to be going on to Rainmaker Museum D'Alfonsino for this one, so we'll see if any teams take that very early first checkpoint just by getting lucky hopping on the spinner. Typically, if one team does it, the other team just counters and does it right back, and then it just becomes a brand new Rainmaker game, but I'll be curious to see if these teams change up their comps again. I don't know, the vanilla roller pick, you know, some players have bread and butter weapons. I won't knock anything like that, but that typically is just not the strongest bubble weapon that we see in the game.
Yeah, not currently, especially. I feel like that one's kind of fallen off a little bit, but if you have somebody that's really open to challenging the ledges and being more aggressive and forward with it, then it will be advantageous for you. You can't really hesitate when you're in a roller position. I feel you have to, if you're going to choose to be that close to the combat, then you have to really commit to what you want to be doing. And speaking of commitment, Falco, talking about commitment, Ruffles original flavor potato chips sold at almost every single store that we could ever imagine. It's one of the best flavors of potato chips. It's been around since 1958. I mean, my God. That's a long time.
You've got some fun facts geared up that I'm sure we'll focus on after this game, because I have thoughts too. So it's going to be the roller who's going to be the only one who makes that immediate drop on the right side, really trying to see who is there by throwing a curling ball. Now, if you do that, you kind of reveal that, hey, I might be dropping on the side, but guess what? They stayed alive, and their team gets that wipeout. So Yakitori Steakhouse got to grab this Rainmaker in a perfect position to get that checkpoint. Now, more importantly, you have players who are in front of the checkpoint already. We did see the V-Shot player get up there with the Trizuka. I don't think they got anybody, but just knowing if you're Fruit Lovers and you see how fast Dubious Yakitori Steakhouse can move, you just really got to be on your toes for the rest of this game.
Totally, and going over into the left-hand corner over there, Pink Envy kind of taking up the rear here. There's still plenty of space to be had, though, for Yakitori, because Blue is going to be the one picking up the Rainmaker over on the corner here, and they still keep providing the jumps here for Yakitori to keep the push going. Fruit Lovers, though, having a lot of ink coverage on their platform here, and especially now that cooler is going to be coming out as well, kind of insult to injury. The Tri-Strikes are going to come out as well. Finally, we're going to be clearing up the bottom part of this platform here. Fruit Lover's is going to be able to come back out into the stage once again, having to fight this 49-point lead here. But if subs is all that it takes to keep them back, Falco, I'm not sure what Fruit Lovers needs to do here to try to turn it around.
Yeah, it's like they have one person one by one try and drop down and see what they can do, but that's going to be the first immediate target for anybody from Dubious Yakitori. So Dubious Yakitori, they're just waiting for that player advantage. You know, you win 1-1v1, you're probably going to be sitting pretty. And again, they're able to get this Rainmaker back to where that first checkpoint was. It didn't really get anywhere at this time. And finally, Fruit Lover was able to pick it up. I'm sure they're going to net at least some points on the board, and they're going to be taking a more slow and steady approach just because they're in this 4v4 position. I'm glad they dropped it down, but they just really have to be careful on how they want to push this forward.
Yeah, careful indeed. That's Pink Envy on the Rainmaker. There's somebody that's actually very early into their comp experience as well. So from the Ink Up being the perfect stage to kind of show your stuff, if you will. Going down in a trade with somebody from Yakitori, they're down in the center stage. Look, trying to see if they can make a little bit of momentum pushing forward. Kay is going to try to open something up there, but also going down in a trade. It just seems like Fruit Lovers can't quite stop themselves from going down in trades with Yakitori Steakhouse, but it's one of those things where the trades are not worth it unless you are have a lead and a significant one at that. And at this moment in time, with only 2 minutes left remaining, Yakitori Steakhouse only has one checkpoint standing in their way, whereas Fruit Lovers is still looking at at least 2 mountains to climb here because there's one checkpoint.
Yeah, and I would still argue that Dubious Yakitori, they're in the advantage, but slowly losing it as far as the map control. And Fruit Lover's finally getting a little bit more comfortable, but they have a lot of players who are in front of this Rainmaker, and I don't want them to get too ahead of themselves at this point, because Dubious Yakitori able to just throw some bombs here. But with all that said, Pink Envy able to get it. Now remember, they still have to get a little bit further to take the lead, and they have a one-player advantage. At this situation, it might be a grab and go. You're still at a one-player advantage, especially you're facing a roller and a shot player. That suction bomb's going to be thrown there, so they can't grab it quite yet, but they gotta pick it up before it goes away, and Pink Envy's finally going to do so. Goes around, but gets splatted by one of the members on Dubious Yakitori, so a lot went down there in that last 20 seconds, and it might be a little bit trickier for Fruit Lovers now at this point.
Yeah, it seemed like getting a little ahead of ourselves with jumping in there, because Kay was jumping into Cherry and then immediately going down. Cherry tried to throw a bomb and a wall or something. Tried to throw everything they could to see if they could help their teammate out in that corner, but unfortunately meeting their demise there. So down to the 58 mark. Now no checkpoint standing in the way for either team at this point. But Dubious Yakitori Steakhouse still having the upper hand here.
Let's see, with 30 seconds left. Again, I think for Dubious Yakitori, just kind of play it out. Don't overextend. You can lose a little bit of mid, but don't go 2 players down. Don't give up your lead. You have to make sure that you're going to be staying alive and saving some of your specials here. And you know, looking at your specials, you have Azuka, you have a Killer Whale, and so use those to your advantage. But you want to make sure that you're in a good position when you do use those specials. And Fruit Lovers finally picking it up here. No player advantage right now. Waiting in mid. Pink Envy's still the one holding it. They have to get some bodies in front of them, but look at this roller. Roller's going to go down. 2 are going to go down on Dubious Yakitori. 1 down on Fruit Lovers. Pink Envy still trying to find a way to push forward. One of the members, it's going to be the gal from Dubious Yakitori, is not a shy player. It's just one, just the roller. Can Pink Envy get away? Yes, they can. Barely avoiding that roller shot. Oh, that would have been so close if that landed, but a great patience by Pink Envy. Able to know when to push forward, and they did a fantastic job winning this game.
I don't think either player was expecting that at all. I don't think that the roller made the perfect jump for Envy to just go right underneath them, for a frame by frame finish for Pink Envy in that moment. And I don't think either of them really expected that to happen. So if you are Fruit Lovers, you have to be riding this high going into a tied set and trying to look in for your next win.
Yeah, that was a really good win. Again, not having the lead pretty much the entire game, and then finally picking up the Rainmaker, able to get that lead. Got to be good. I'll go back to your Ruffles comment here. You said, okay, You said plain Ruffles are one
To
of the
circle
best
back.
flavors.
To
Let's circle back.
back.
The thing is, there aren't a lot of Ruffles flavors. There's a lot of like Lay's product flavors, but not a lot of Ruffles.
Oh, hold on. Let me tell
Okay,
you.
some of us didn't go to Thailand and get mayonnaise Ruffles.
That
Yeah.
doesn't. What does that have to do with it? Yeah,
'Cause
there's a
that's
lot
that's
more
probably one of the
flavors
flavors
there.
you're gonna point out.
Yeah, but of course, there's an expansion of flavors depending on what region of the world you're in, but just in general,
Okay,
there's
my
a lot of
point
Ruffles
being,
flavors. Okay.
original Ruffles is best with like French onion dip or something. I need a dipper. That chip's gonna be a vehicle for me.
But the chip itself, the vessel itself, if that was French onion flavor or sour cream and onion flavor, and then you had the dip at the same time, is that too much?
I think that's too much. That's overkill.
Okay, well, you know what's not is there's a lot happening at Scorch Gorge actually that is not super overkill because it just started. So there's
Oh,
still
let's
a lot
have
of
it.
action. Yeah, there's still a lot of action to be had, so we actually didn't miss anything at all. So and no comp changes either. I mean, the Tetris I believe is something that's different unless I miss something entirely. And actually the
Tetris are
carbon
new.
roller too. Yeah, the carbon roller
Yeah.
as well is something different.
Right, because we had the carbon, or we had the vanilla in the first two games, switching now to carbon, and yeah, Tetra Dualies now coming out. Bubble is going to be getting a power claim, but ooh, they stay alive from that splat bomb, and then are going to go down to either the Slosher or the Reef Slider. They're going to go down to damage. And Fruit Lover is very quick to counter this too, and should be able to push up. If like in Clan Blitz, when you see you have a 3-player advantage, you're like, nope, we're just gonna push forward. We're gonna do everything. We're just gonna brute force this, and that's exactly what they're doing. Ooh, bunching up, very, very risky in that position with the Trizukas coming out too. Fruit Lover's lucky that not more than one person went down, so they just got to be a little bit careful here on this push. But it's now back to mid with Fruit Lovers slowly extending forward.
Yeah, slowly indeed, because there's not really a whole lot of action happening quite yet here. Kay is going to be the one to try to engage something, though, as the football now barely touching the ramp here for the side of Fruit Lovers. And I like that 512 is kind of luring people out with the Dynamo Roller to see if they can lure them back into the fight in their own spawn. But it seemed to me that Fruit Lovers had a pretty decent push that was about to get started there, but then unfortunately it was toppled because of a 3 versus 1 situation. But it makes me wonder though, if Kay was so confident to push forward there and take that fight and calling 3 members out in that moment, where was the rest of Fruit Lovers? So I'm wondering if there's still a little bit more organization to be had before we can get started here. But at the same time, we're getting into the 3rd minute of the game here and nothing has happened.
Well, take a look at the clam economy from Dubious Yakitori. Like, they had 14 at one point. And, okay, that Zuka pick is huge, too. Can they land that one against S12? No, they can't. Okay, so I was going to say that is definitely the time you want to try and push forward. But it didn't work. And Dubious Yakitori, that's Row, very risky, picking up that power claim, too. But doing everything they can to stay alive. They just don't want to give Fruit Lovers an opportunity. I know they were waiting for a lot of their team members to respawn and pulled forward, but they didn't overextend at that point, which is great too. But now Fruit Lovers in a much better position. Strikes are going to be coming out. S512 is going to be throwing that cooler out, going to go down, but their teammates are still applying some of this pressure and be able to score. Gets the first score. 2-player advantage right now too. There could be a lot of clams, but that's actually going to just be S here. A few jumps, they're probably going to go down because those jumps are spotted. But look, that's just one power clam and one clam to follow up. And so this is definitely a game that Dubious Yakitori can take control of.
Yeah, take control of indeed, and it took them 3 minutes to do it. I mean, my goodness. It's a slow moving race, but perhaps maybe just hoarding all of the wealth until the very last couple of minutes is the way to go when you're Dubious Yakitori Steakhouse, because it seems to me maybe that's what's going to be happening again. But you have 3 members going down, and you have 1 member ready with a special too, but where is the rest of my team to like launch that in a defensive motion here? And especially if you already have cover fire coming down from Fruit Lovers. But Falco, the clam spawns are not in Fruit Lovers' favor here, because still there's not even with that man advantage, very briefly, there was still not enough clam economy to really make a push happen.
No, and they have some time just to form one power claim to get it into overtime, because I'm not concerned with the claims they have when overtime starts. They just need to get one power claim and 2 claims in to win. They could easily go around, but they need to take advantage of this player advantage right now. It looks like they do. They do. Oh, I'm sorry, Fruit Lovers, yeah, able to get that power claim and trying to extend their lead. They do a pretty good job with this. Pink Emby able to jump out. It's just going to be S who's alive. Going to have to back out, so the push is likely going to end there. So now you think about, okay, Dubious Yakitori here, they're going to get another Mercy claim. They have 2 power claims. To get both of those in, they're only 4 claims away from getting the win. So Fruit Lovers really just got to be on edge for these last 5 seconds going into overtime.
They've got to be on edge for it, but they are going to initiate overtime, having a power claim in tow. And this is the most movement I've seen from Dubious Yakitori Steakhouse in this game so far. Like, barely making it up the ramp there, but with the tri-strikes coming out in a defensive motion, that is going to be the power claim going down on the ground. There's nobody in sight. There's no ground to stand on for Dubious Yakitori Steakhouse. So we're going to be shifting into game number 4 with Fruit Lovers in the lead.
Yeah, well, that's actually a game 3 that ends it, the set with the best of 3. So Fruit Lovers, yeah, best of 3 round 1.
Oh, that's brutal. That's brutal.
Yeah. There's no forgiveness here. No losers bracket.
Imagine
so
if you all believed me and it was a lie.
Well, I have Sendo pulled up, so you know. Yeah, don't believe Sal, especially on her ruffle stakes.
How many tabs do you have? I have 5 Sendo tabs open.
I have 1.
Let me be clear.
I have the match. 1 open.
That's it?
Yeah.
And you don't even have any research tabs for the ruffles?
No, because the research or my taste buds.
Also known as Lay's Max.
Lay's Max?
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're... What country?
In some countries.
Lay's
according to Wikipedia.
Okay. Okay.
What about... Okay, so I thought... Wasn't all dressed flavor, just that flavor palette in general, wasn't that a specialty in Canada and then it eventually came over to the US? Am I tripping
yeah,
about
so
that?
like all dressed chips, that's a very common chip flavor in Canada, and they've occasionally brought it to the US. That's correct.
Okay. I was curious about that.
Yeah. So,
I didn't remember what
again,
the truth was.
not my favorite. Not my favorite.
Ruffles are not your favorite?
No, the all dressed.
All dressed is not your favorite. Why is that?
The best is sour cream and onion. So
okay.
Yeah.
Can you back that
cheddar and sour cream. That's the best flavor.
Cheddar and sour cream. Can you back that up? Can you tell me why that is?
Well, I had some today, and the taste is just very delicious.
Well,
so
I just happen to have some on hand.
Do
you remember when we got in a fight over Cheez-Its?
Oh, yeah, I've gotten in a fight over Cheez-Its with multiple people, but it's fine.
Okay, I was just curious if you remembered that.
Yeah. So next is VectorQry versus Tricky Soup. And by the way, this is still a best of 3 going into the second.
The stakes are high.
The stakes are very high.
Tricky Soup.
I was hoping. And VectorQuery, they're the number 2 seed going into this tournament as well, so sitting pretty strong. They had a bye going into this, so Tricky Soup got a 2-0 win over 3/4 combo to make it here. Got that lovely. I think we're the only ones who saw the game 3. So.
Okay. And also Tricky Soup is a pickup of a lot of folks from Chiptune. And Chiptune is a team that we've had on Ludi Tonight a lot this season.
Yes.
So that's kind of fun
to see. I know.
Yeah.
It's always fun when there's a lot of these a lot of the teams that we've had streaming, and then we get to see them in from the Ink Up. Because I feel like, I'm not as familiar with, teams in general, like, since I don't play comp as much. And then I really haven't been commentating a whole ton. So it's harder for me to like fully remember a lot of the teams that come out. But we're happy to see them.
It's good when there's overlap, and it's nice because a lot of that practice is also overlapping in people's performance in their Ludi sets and or in their tournament matches. So it's always fun to see. It's always a good one. And you know what else? You know what else is fun? The fact that Ruffles potato chips were introduced to the world worldwide 78 years ago.
Like today or
They were introduced in 1948. No, not today.
Well, okay, I
Not
meant on
today.
April 10th, 1948.
Not today,
okay.
this day of April 10th, 1948, but just in general in the year 1948. That's when Ruffles were introduced to the world. And all dressed, by the way, we talked about the all dressed flavor. That's ketchup, barbecue, salt, and vinegar flavors all mixed together. And if that's your jam, that's your jam. You know, one hot take I actually do have about a chip flavor is I don't like that hot honey has become like the flavor of the
like
week.
a new thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
I've
that
had like
just like you don't like that flavor?
no, not really. Not for a chip. I feel like for a chip flavor, it's just not. It does not meet the requirements. It does not meet the expectations.
That's fair. I don't know if I've had a chip with that flavor before, but I've seen it coming out. Yeah, I don't know. You know what we did get though this week? Ohio got their first Buc-ee's. So
First Buc-ee's. Wow. Have you made the voyage yet, or will
No.
you be making the voyage?
I will sometime. I have not made it yet.
Okay.
Yeah, not yet. I've been to a Buc-ee's before, but no, it was like all over the news on Monday when they opened, and they had to like
It was
close
on the
down.
news.
Oh yeah, they had to close. Like traffic was insane. They had to have like police directing traffic all around the interchange around it.
Helly, that's crazy.
Yeah, big stuff.
Yeah, big stuff indeed. Okay, well, so I think Vector. Okay, so is VectorQry an no, they have a team page. They're an established team, but they don't really have too many results. Or so maybe they're. Or no, they do have results. No, I'm a liar. They do have results. They have results going all the way back to 2024.
Yeah,
As a group.
they've been around for quite some time.
Wow. Yeah, they play in From the Ink Up almost every time too. I mean, it's been going back to like the 80s. It's been going all the way back to the 80s. Yeah. But their very first From the Ink Up as a team was week 55. So now they're playing in week 100 right now. So
yeah,
historical.
okay. Yeah, so a lot of shooters coming out from Vector here. The Friesen Pro making an appearance. That's going to have Tenta missiles. E-Leader coming out on the side of Tricky Shoot. Tricky Shoot. I feel like Inkwaz is a pretty decent map for that weapon as well, so that's going to be pretty good as Marge is going to be the one on that. Probably trying to counter the pencil. Of course, it's going to outrange the pencil. And yeah, you can shoot pretty far. Thankfully, they can get a lot of their jumpers in there as well, so... again, well, I don't know. Both teams are actually playing very cautiously. I'm kind of worried about Vector because I don't think they have a ton of paint with the Pro and the Blaster. They're really going to have to rely on the splatter shot if the pencil is going to be too focused on some of the backlines. And I think there's going to be a lot of flanking shenanigans from Tricky Soup. Mainly looking at the Dapple Dualies and the Neo Splash.
Yeah, I mean, you were just saying that they don't really have a lot of ink to work with, but to me it seems like a lot of the pieces for their push here have like really fallen into place. That's Beige trying to be the one to push the Power Clam into the basket, but it's gonna fall just a little bit short, and Aster is the only one left standing. It seems like VectorQry really had to like put a lot of things together in order to actually make that push come to fruition, and even then the results were not really what they were looking for.
Yeah, it was just shy from making it. Again, the attempt was good. We could see what was cooking in their brain, but the execution was not quite there. So we'll see how Tricky Soup here is going to perform potentially on the offensive side of things. Again, 2-player advantage now. Onion's going to be grabbing a power claim, trying to push forward. You have to take out that pencil player. They finally do. The stamp is going to come out as well. That's going to be huge to just block everything in front of the basket. Sin now coming in, scoring some power claims. That's going to be a layup too from Fan. getting that power clam in, and Fan is still alive on that wiper, dropping down. A great plays from Fan all around. They're the ones who broke out that Ultra Stamp and just caused some chaos in front of the basket, so they played that perfectly. Finally now going down, Vector, again, pretty quick on this respawn. I mentioned I thought they weren't going to have a lot of pain, but they're really making up for some lost ground here, trying to get back in the mid.
Seems to me too, especially with the torpedo. I was like, what is the name of that? The torpedo coming out here. It has been such a good distraction tool, especially for the Snipe Rider player on VectorQry. I think that's, no. Mari is the one playing the E-leader. I wanted to get that straight in my brain for a second. But a really intense push coming out for VectorQry here, but it's still like there's not a lot of power. There's no power clam or clam to show for it, and the basket was left open there with nothing to open it. And still a really powerful lead here coming out from Tricky Soup as we enter the third minute of the game. Finally, these clam games that we've been seeing today so far, Falco, have just been so slow in their progress, it seems.
Yeah, it takes a lot of these teams just some time to find their ground and how they want to push. And it's like once they push, they put all of their effort into it, which is great. I mean, that's obviously what you should do, but it just takes them so long to get to that point. So now Vector's really just, again, they're playing the offensive side here, and Tricky Soup knows that. They're going to just try and wait out some of these specials here. They know, okay, look, we're going to let Vector use some of these specials. We have to ride the wave here before we get the stop. Their push is going to be predictable, and we just need to make sure that we are prepared for it. And right now, it seems to be going both ways. That bubble is actually huge that is going to be coming out. That was going to be the blaster who used it. They sacrificed their body, able to come back, and look at that Beige, able to score power clam, get a layup, get another one in. And will they be able to take the lead? Stormy here with some clams, they do, so that is going to be big as well. And Stormy's still alive. Talk about the finesse from a blaster player. You typically don't see them survive that often. A great job, great push, and a great lead for Vector.
Yeah, really huge lead for Vector. Tricky Soup is looking to see if they can follow up here. A really great snipe coming out from Mari just a few seconds ago. But VectorQry's reach is still so far into the middle section because you can see it's becoming a firefight for mid here and just kind of calculating what we want to try to do next. The tri-strikes maybe could open something up and a power clam in tow, but Fan is going to go down, and so that is the stamp that goes down too. 3 members of Tricky Soup going down, and eventually actually the wipeout too. Yeah, that's GG's if you are VectorQry because already the power clam there is in position, but a quick respawn from Fan, but it's not really going to be enough when VectorQry's knocking at your door. Basket broken.
And Vector played that perfect because they waited for. I think it was intentional. It looked intentional. They waited. They said, you know what? If we score this clam with 10 seconds left, it's possible they're going to get overtime and they could pick up this pity clam, chuck it. They're going to have 2 clams. They're going to be in good position to not score, but at least have some clams. So they waited. They're like, you know what? We don't need to score this. We would rather get our bodies up here and just get closer to the ledge to guard you. Now, thankfully, they didn't get wiped out or anything, but yeah, that was a great win for VectorQry to seal the deal.
They all have their Splatfest shirts on.
You know, it's funny because like there's a lot of tournaments who forbid Splatfest tees when they're not better, but it's just like I think it's also the fear of like, oh, like we just want to make sure everyone's on like has the same advantage or whatever, but some people just don't care about Splatfest tees when they wear it. So I think a lot of tournaments are just kind of like, you know what, like just wear it if you want. But
I remember us like back in the day being like Splatfest shirts.
Check your tees, yeah.
Change your Splatfest shirt. Change your Splatfest shirt.
I know. It was always because we always played in From the Ink Up, and that's always when Splatfest started. So
I know,
we were always on top.
Oh, is it from the Ink? Oh, it's Splatfest. Oh, we have to change our. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The whole the trickle down of events.
I forgot I joined a team. I played Splatoon today for the first time in like 2 weeks, and I forgot I already joined Team Chick. I was gonna join Team Bear, but I just forgot.
You are Team Chick, but you were going to pick Team Bear. Why is that?
Like, So I work at a college, and I was playing Splatoon with some of the students, and they all wanted Team Bear, and I had no preference, so I was gonna choose Bear. But I already chose Chick, and I forget why I did that.
So you betrayed them, is what you're saying.
Which would you Chick? Or Chick. Got him. Chick, Bear, or Bunny?
I think Bunny.
Bunny's cute.
I think Bunny and then Bear.
Yeah.
I think that sits right with me. Okay, so let's research about more of these ruffle flavors, my guy. Am I right?
I thought you were gonna say teams, but ruffle flavors are fine.
Well, so one of the limited flavors of ruffles that you could get in the day is yakisoba, which I just want to talk.
Okay. I like
Because
yakisoba.
Limited edition. Hold on. Limited edition ruffle flavor send.
Are you sending it to me or?
No, This is me sending it into Google with my voice.
Oh, okay.
Okay. There's Cool Ranch Dorito flavor, but in a ruffle, in which I wonder, why do we do these crossover things with these chips? Are they not owned by the same company? Much like IPL now having From the Ink up under their roof. Are they not just owned by the same conglomerate?
Wait, sorry, Ruffles and who?
Ruffles and Doritos.
Yeah, they're both owned by Frito-Lay.
Right.
So they're patting themselves on the back when they do that.
I see.
That's like okay, you remember the crossovers, it was actually no, they weren't Butch Hartman. I was thinking Fairly Odd Parents and Jimmy Neutron, but they weren't the same creators. Never mind.
Wait, yeah. What other shows did Butch Hartman do?
Danny Phantom.
Right.
Then anything after that was after my time.
Okay. Hold on. We have another. We are opening so many tabs right now.
Your computer's gonna start
it's
sparking.
Gonna explode. Yeah, it's gonna.
Well,
explode.
you know, if you have more than like 5 Google Chrome tabs open, you're using like 5 gigs of RAM. So.
I think the only big titles are Fairly Odd Parents and Danny Phantom.
By the way, if you're waiting to know why we haven't started yet, you can see at the top, I believe we're still waiting on somebody to join the lobby. We don't really have word of what it is, but if there is information that we can pass along to you, we certainly will. Oh, they put the score in incorrectly for the second match. Okay, so one of the admins is on it already, so we'll just keep gabbing. Look, now we actually have an excuse and a reason to talk about Ruffles. Not that we didn't before.
Oh my gosh, not like okay.
I said not like we did it before.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, what about the Ruffles Flamin' Hot Cheddar and Sour Cream Limited Edition LeBron James Edition?
Oh, I just had the regular, not the
on
LeBron
eBay.
James version. Sorry.
Well, then you're a pleb.
All right, good one. You got me.
I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
What about? Oh wait, no, this is the same one. But this bag is only $2.96 at your local Walgreens. Are you? You have CVS?
We have both. We have both.
Okay.
Okay, so with these Ruffle flavors though, there is a shop. It's like an international grocery store. It's actually the largest grocery store in the country is in Cincinnati, called Jungle Gyms, and they sell a lot of imported snacks and food. Mm-hmm. Imported everything. And if you can eat it and it's imported, it's at Jungle Gyms.
Right.
So there's a lot of chip flavors there that are pretty good.
Okay.
I haven't been there in a while.
I forgot to mention, and I guess I'll mention it here on the broadcast, but I did go to a very cool nature center yesterday while at work, and I did in fact buy your son a book.
Oh,
that I'm going to be sending to you.
Okay. Well, we look forward to it. You had a dramatic pause after your son,
Mm-hmm.
so I thought you were going to purchase him. I'm glad you're not.
Yes.
All right, let's move on here to game 2. They got it all scored away. VectorQry up 1-0 over Tricky Soup. honestly, there are no changes on the side of Tricky Soup, and the only change that we're going to be two changes. The pencil is going to be going to the heavy edit, and the freeze and pro is going to be switching to the forge. So still sticking with splatter shots, pros, which again aren't a very common weapon class that we see. I'm happy to see it, but more immediate skirmish going on at the beginning of this match than they had before. I think. I was going to say, I don't know who's in a better position, but Sin is going to be picking up for Tricky Soup, opting to try and push on the right side again, a little bit less conventional, but you know, if that's where their heart desires to get that checkpoint, I don't blame them. They're able to get that 60, so pretty easy 60. Will they commit on this right side? I don't think that's a wise move, but you know what? You have the advantage right now. You might as well keep up the pressure.
Yeah, well, clearly in that moment, the instinct was a lot stronger of a pull than the actual logic of the push there, because the right-hand side seemed advantageous for just a little while, but that opens the floodgate for Vector to come through on the left-hand side with the bubble being perfectly placed, and in no time at all, the Vector themselves taking the first checkpoint back as well, and actually going to be closing the gap with that 1 point too, and then some, with multiple members going down on Tricky Soup. This is a recipe for disaster.
How did they hit him?
Right at the 1 point with a mystery hit.
I don't know how that wiper hit the player with the Rainmaker. Okay, so they finally get the dunk, so Tricky Soup now on the board. This is a really good set. We love it. Oh, I'm sorry, Vector. Vector got it. Yeah, no, they had it at the very end. That's right. But, you know, at that point, it's like everybody just get close to the Rainmaker and hop on the podium and pray that they don't splat the right person. And that's what happened with VectorQry getting the win. So again, still a best of 3 set. VectorQry is going to be winning this set 2-0. So a huge win for them, much quicker than their first game played out. They're going to be moving on to the semifinals coming up pretty soon.
I dedicate that win to Meat Shield. It always comes in handy when you need it. Shout out to Meat Shields.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
We were all thinking it. Someone just had to say it.
Well, that's really big for VectorQuery. I'm going to see how they did in their group stages. They went 9-0, so they won every game.
Okay, yeah. So really looking in for the win. And I believe in what we said before too, VectorQuery's been playing from the Ink Up since the 55th edition. So looking to playing for almost half, like been around for at least half the time from the Ink Up's inception, if you know what I'm saying. If you know the words I'm trying to find.
Yeah, VectorQry is the
VectorQry.
I was the one who said it incorrectly first, so I'll take the blame.
I know, but VectorQuery kind of rolls off the tongue nicely, but VectorQry, you got it. And they're going to be going up against Agenda next. Agenda is seeded 3rd in the tournament so far. I'm not sure of their results, but finding themselves in the semifinals area as well. And then you have Ancient Knight on the other side of the bracket. Ancient Nightmare, excuse me, and I think going up against Star Cookie eventually, but their match is still being their match now has been determined 2-1 against Love Shot. Star Cookie is moving on, so you have Ancient Nightmare versus Star Cookie on the other side of the bracket in the semifinals.
Yeah, Star Cookie, like you meant, getting that 2-1, so another set going to a game 3. I think Star Cookie is the #1 overall seed. Yeah, they are. So they're showing where they belong here in the semifinals, and now we are moving on to best of 5 territory. So we'll a little bit more grace. You lose your first game, maybe you lose your second game too. You got some redemption opportunities here.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be good for us as well as the commentators to enjoy the game.
Yeah,
and love that.
Ancient Nightmare is in Division 7 of the Ludi season that's currently going on. We're in Season 17, in case you're unaware. So Ancient Nightmare is in Division 7 of all of it. So right smack dab in the upper end, I guess, of divisions that are allowed to play in from the Ink Up. So firmly finding themselves, though, in the 19th seed out of 44 teams with the top 3 seeds. So that's a story that has to be interesting there, because I think they only dropped 1 game in their group stage going into this bracket stage. So and now finding themselves in the semifinal spot. I mean, that's got to be pretty exciting. So it makes me curious to see what Ancient Nightmare kind of entails. Like, what does their play style entail? And especially because I think that's who we're going to be watching next against
well,
Star Cookie.
That's right. We'll be seeing Ancient Knight versus Star Cookie. You know, mentioning the 19 seed, it's typical that a higher seed team is going to make it up this far. Typically, they have more results. They're repeat offenders of gold bracket, if you will. A lot of the teams who play here, but then there are some that we just don't have a lot of information on, or they don't have a lot of play history, or maybe they add a sub that they didn't have before, and they really turn up to heat. So they yeah, they've got to be sitting pretty here for what's to come, especially against the number 1 seed. That should be a lot of fun to see. And looking at some of their results from the past year, or is this? Oh no, this is actually still from the Ink Up. So I was trying to get to their team results, and I thought it would bring me there, but no, brought me from the Ink Up results. So I don't have a team page. You know, I could click that. I guess that's I guess that's an option. So yeah, a lot of results so far in 2026 as well. Really just low ink, and from the Ink Up, we see two Shark Tanks sprinkled in there, and hey, if they finished 3rd in Ludi Division 9 Worlds last season as well. So
Ooh.
I know a lot of things can happen in between Ludi seasons, but 3rd out of 48, no matter what division you're in, is always really fun. Always good to see.
Totally. That's really good. I also want to look a little closer at the team agenda as well on the other side of the bracket. Also having a lot of recent results going back to February of this year, and with a lot of like lower level tournaments. They did play in Crow Battle at least once, which that's I mean kind of a gauntlet in itself to try to play. You have Teacup, you have Swimmer Sync a little bit in there, a lot of Shark Tank presence as well. It's really, it's really nice, and no shade against IPL or anything like that on their broadcast, but it is really entertaining to see all these other different tournament names that I've never heard of before. Like I'm like, I know Shark Tank has been around for a little bit, but I'm like, damn, like I don't think I've ever like watched a Shark Tank before. Admittedly, I've never watched a Shark Tank tournament before. But it's one of those things that's like it's in people's results constantly. So it's like, dang, is this something that I should be like looking a little bit closer at? Like I feel like there's so many different things that have now made such a good presence in the tournament scene that it's like, shoot, like I'm running out of broadcast time. I'm running out of watch time to pay attention to all these tournaments.
Yeah, it's so. I mean, I'll from time to time on a weeknight or something, if I'm just like hanging out on my computer, I'll open up Sendo and see what tournaments are going on. Because thankfully, there's a very easy way to see who's streaming and to see if there's an official cast stream too. So that's always fun. Because like you said, there are some of these other tournaments that a lot of players will put results from. There's quite a few teams that sign up, and it's fun to see all those results too. With Star Cookie, for instance, playing in Milk Cup, they played in that. On the 4th, so that was about a week ago now. And then Star Cookie as well, the last, or not the last from the Ink Up, but the one on March 13th, coming in 3rd. So up from the Ink Up 99 prior to 100. Hey, winning from the Ink Up 100, that's right. Got to be a lot of fun. That's got to be something you highlight on your Sendo resume. You don't just put it on there, you highlight it.
Yeah, that's got to be like the handwritten text. It's not just a badge. It's not just a badge that gets buried in your other badges. It's got to be like right in the front. Right in the front, and then down below, it's first and from the Ink Up 100. 100. Okay, listen. So one thing that I've been thinking about a lot is these Flamin' Hot Cheddar and Sour Cream LeBron James edition ruffles.
As one does, yes.
As one does. They keep me up at night, let me tell you. There's 85 flavors of ruffles. There's 85 flavors. I don't know if you were anticipating that, if you knew that or not.
I don't. There's so many limited edition ones. Okay, like What about the ones that are in constant rotation? I don't know.
Ones that are in well, there's a hot wing flavor.
Well, I know I've never had, to be fair, like any chip flavor that's like a limited edition that I'm like, this is the best thing I've ever had. Like that's never happened to me. So I feel like the good ones are just constants. They're always there.
Right. I know. I always feel like when like not like a new chip. I don't know when the last time like a quote unquote new chip has ever come out, but I always feel like there's a system to how the flavors come out, and it'll be like, oh, here's the dill pickle flavor. Oh, you love dill pickle? Well, here's spicy dill pickle.
I do love dill pickle chips.
I know, and I do love dill pickle chips, and I do love a dill pickle chip. Oh my gosh, like please, I'm not even throwing shade on that, but it just feels like there's this like formula of chip flavor that comes out, and it'll be like dill pickle to spicy dill pickle to dill pickle ranch to jalapeno dill pickle ranch.
They're segues, yeah.
Yeah. Hot honey dill pickle ranch. Korean
Big
style.
pickles making a comeback here. Big pickles making their way to your cabinet.
Big Pickle is making their way to Humpback Pump Track as well. I could imagine at the concessions of Humpback Pump Track, you can not only buy your favorite sody pop, but you could also maybe buy your favorite dill pickle chip as well.
You know, Grillo's pickles are the best. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Yes, Humpback. I'm happy to see Humpback make returns from time to time. I feel like it's you love it or hate it stage. But I'm a fan of Humpback Rainmaker. I love seeing the cheese. We talked about the ruffles. Let's talk about the cheese. There's a lot of cheese that can happen here with Vac.
And cheese-flavored ruffles.
Cheese flavored, yeah. Well, sour cream and cheddar, you mentioned.
Sour cream and cheddar.
All right, let's hop into here. Semis from the Ink Up 100 Star Cookie versus Ancient Nightmare. Are we going to see any VAC weapons? The answer to that is yes. It is going to be Star Cookie with the Vanilla 96. It's going to be coming out. So we could see some shenanigans happen with that VAC. And then we have the Gold Dynamo, or we have the Vanilla Dynamo and the Custom Blaster. That's going to have point sensors and triple splashdown. They're just going to go down now themselves. But Star Cookie grabbing that Rainmaker, pushing it with that 10. Oh, yeah, so we didn't even talk about the 10 that's coming out with Zuka and Ink Mine. So this is a great tent map as well, especially at that Zuka, pushing it around this elbow here. Star Cookie going to be getting that dunk, breaking that checkpoint. Weirdo here is just riding with the Rainmaker, applying some pressure, and Star Cookie's still trying to keep this push going.
Yeah, and Sin has been a really key player in keeping that going as well. That this mobile shield weapon has really been making a splash for Star Cookie down to the 4-point mark here. Weirdo and Sin are both still very present too. On this elbow side, you can see all members of Ancient Nightmare trying to come out of the spawning point here. They're going to be popping a couple of specials to try to open it up. A lot of the members of Star Cookie now spreading out in the middle section here because Ancient Nightmare looking to try to break through. But a little hesitant, Falco. There's not a lot of headway being made for Ancient Nightmare, which, I mean, even though having the Rainmaker in their hands, Star Cookie is still really quick to respond.
Yeah, they were able to just say, you know what? Nope, we're not gonna let you do that. we're not gonna have that happen. And I mean, Star Cookie just again very quick to grab mid here, take control of it. Rainmaker's in a very interesting position. Okay, Ancient Nightmare is going to be picking it up here. They have some pressure in front of them. Cooler's now going to come out as well. You know, if Ani can just get some of these Rainmaker shots up in front of that bend, especially avoiding the Zuka is going to be taking them out. So that is a big pick. But two are now going to be down on Star Cookie. So, you know, I think if you're Ancient Nightmare, yeah, keep up this pressure, but now with two down, just kind of get back in mid, know it's going to get reset. That's going to be a delayed wipe right now with 666 here. Knight getting back into the swing of things. So Star Cookie able to try and pick this back up, just say, you know what, it's a 4v4, but we have full control mid. We want to try another push.
Yeah, Hebe was kind of in no man's land there for a while, and even so, trying to defend the pedestal here, and once again, there's nobody there to defend it. You could see the Wiper player on the side there, literally a mid-swipe, about to take out the Rainmaker carrier there, but Star Cookie was going to respond just as quickly as they did the first time. So that is one game down for Star Cookie, and you said we're in the 5-game mode territory now. So before it was a little brutal. It was only 3 games, best of 3, but now we're in the best of 5 zone here. So a little bit more time to make things up, if you need to make it up. And with Barnacle and Dime on Splat Zones, maybe that's the place to do it if you're on Ancient Nightmare.
Yeah, a little bit more breathing room. Get your dollars, get your shopping bags ready.
True.
We'll be going to Barnacle.
Coupons.
Get the coupons ready.
Can I actually, speaking of coupon, can I tell you a really fun story? There was
About coupons, of course.
About coupons, yes. There was one time that my grandma went to the grocery store. My grandpa gave her $20, a crisp $20 bill, and gave her coupons and gave her a list. And the list was filled out to a T with exact brands of things, like sizes of things and what kind and everything. And he was like, if you go and you spend and like you get everything exactly to a T on this list with these coupons, it will be exactly $20. And it was in fact exactly $20.
Wow.
He was like an extreme couponer, and I really wish that was something that more people could like actually commit to and have time for. But also, it's like these days, are coupons even worth it?
Have you ever watched that show on TLC, Extreme Couponing?
No, but I wonder.
You haven't lived large in the early 2000s. Okay.
Sorry, yeah,
No,
I was watching too much My Strange Addiction.
It was really about these moms who had too much time on their hands, who like knew exactly how much money they were going to save, and then they would like spend 5 hours checking out and they would buy things that were completely unnecessary, like 20 jars of pasta sauce or something. You don't need that much at one time, but it's like it's a bargain, and they all have like these stock houses in their garage. It was awful. Like they were just like not nice people too.
Oh my god. And you have to wonder too when people are on shows like that and when they're filming and when they're like off set or behind the scenes, like how are those people what are those people actually like not on camera?
Yeah.
You know? Like what kind of attitude are you bringing? Which also, speaking of not on camera, there's so many different special edition ruffles that we've talked about before, and there's so many different special editions that involve just like players of sports teams. Like there's one here,
all those corporate sponsorships.
I know, Ruffles Ridge Twist Smoky Barbecue, and there's somebody from the WNBA on here, but it doesn't say her name.
Probably Angel
on this
Reese
website.
Or Caitlin Clark.
Okay,
Either way,
I'll pay more attention to that after Barnacle and Dime. I have my bags and coupons ready.
Okay, quite a few changes. We see the Glugas coming out. We see the Stamper coming out as well. And the horn, is it the horn? The Dread Horns. I forget the full name of it. That's going to be coming out in Ancient Nightmare. That might be one of the only weapons they change this time around. They're going to be quickly getting some crab action out of here as well. Taking control of mid, avoiding that Booyah Bomb, but able to get a flank. Yes, they're going to be taking them out. Toho still riding strong, caught in all the action, finally taken out here. Star Cookie now at the player advantage, takes over the zone, get that Zipcaster out as well. Zipcaster against Ultra Stamp, that's going to be a fight to see. Ultra Stamp going to be taking out one. So yeah, Nightly's been doing a really good job with the finesse. I know you have to have a lot of finesse when you're a Wiper player, but they've really stayed alive in some sticky situations.
Yeah, they seem a lot more awake in this game than they did in that last match, because getting a really key double pick here, forcing Ancient Nightmare forcing Star Cookie back for quite a time to force the lead switch, but now Ancient Nightmare finding themselves on the back foot. 2 specials online and ready to go, though. Star Cookie Weirdo is very keen that Nightly is over on that left-hand side. They know that they've already gone over to the right there. And if you just get a little bit of damage on somebody, you end up seeing their health bar and seeing where they're at. So it just takes a little bit to tell you a lot of information. So Ancient Nightmare is going to be losing the lead to Star Cookie here, as Sin is going to be pushing up on the right-hand side here, while the other folks of Star Cookie are going to hook it around the left-hand side, and 2 members are down to try to take the zone back into possession here. But I don't think that's going to be enough firepower to really do much, as Star Cookie is cascading their lead.
Yeah, and you can just tell where they are on the map. They're so comfortable with how they're playing this game. They're able to just say, you know what? I'm going to try and get behind you. I'm going to try and get to the side of you. We're going to be all over this map. You're not going to find any place that you can break in. Look at Sin just keeping an eye on these jumps. Sees 1 jump, sees 2. Can they get that 3rd? They get well-deserved aura right at the end of the game. GG's to them. Star Cookie sitting very strong in this 2-0 position.
It's a well-deserved aura should be one of the titles. Is that a title that you could make on your
Like have
splash
aura
tag?
in the name?
Yeah, well-deserved aura.
I don't know.
Okay, well that sounds like a splash tag to me.
Well-deserved aura.
Mm-hmm.
Rolls off the tongue again.
It does. I really, this is one of those times where I know we're not on webcam this evening and you get to just listen to our voices, but this is one of those times where I want to show you this book that I got. I want to like read it to you and like read it to the broadcast, you know? We could have a little bit of a story time.
Story time with Saf.
It's really cute. I think you'll like it. It's really, really cute.
I mean, I'm down.
I mean, you wanna.
I mean, if you want to, or it could be in between sets, going into grands. That might be a little bit more.
A little bit more our speed. Okay.
More our speed.
Okay. Well, I want to know. I feel like I prompted a children's book conversation not that long ago at my work training, and it was because of a conversation that you had prompted with Popgun. Just a couple weeks ago, and I've been thinking a lot about it, and I want to know. I want to know, like, what are your favorite children's books? What are ones that you're reading right now, and what are ones that you grew up with?
Okay, so growing up, I never enjoyed reading growing up, but one book that is really warming up to me, and I didn't like it at first, but I really like it. Just like the cadence of the story is Goodnight Moon. It's a very calming and relaxing children's story.
Good one.
That is a fantastic one. But what's also fantastic is Game 3, Clan Blitz here. Museum d'Alfonsino again. Weapon changes came from, I believe, Star Cookie side. Yeah, they're sticking with the Glugas and the Stamper. The Horns Dread is still coming out. Okay, so they're not really changing weapons again. Yeah, we're sticking with what we know, and both teams are going to rock and roll with it.
Yeah, and I like that Weirdo is painting up the spawn and trying to get special as fast as they can so that Star Cookie can have cooler as fast as they can, which it looks like they're definitely going to need it because 3 members of Star Cookie are going to be going down. You can see Hebe has been trying to get their jump to be perfected to get up here, but not a lot of time to be spared. All the members of Star Cookie are already there to respond. However, not enough correspondence happening because Ancient Nightmare is going to be first about the basket.
Yeah, very quick on this opening push, scoring with just about 30 seconds in, and it's going to be Hebe who's trying to make their way there. I don't think, yeah, they're gonna back off. They're not going to commit. So only getting to 62. You have Ani here is in a very okay. No, they're going back to their They're going back to their basket. I was concerned. Were they able to take out that zip caster? Was that a frontline pencil shot to take out the zip? I think it was. So great job for Ani there for being able to take care of it, and yeah, avoiding these strikes, you definitely want to just give yourself a little bit of space here. Ash is going to be hiding off to the side, going to be jumping back, it looks like, too. So the hard part now with Star Cookie, you form this power clam, or you pick, did they pick up their pity claim? I think they did. Maybe it was an accident, but now you're just like holding on to this, and you're like, all right, I'm the backline, you already know where I am, so I might as well keep it, but we got to find a way that we can push forward, and Ancient Nightmare just they have a response of their own.
Yeah, and I like that Sin is trying to do what they can to be a defensive wall there, but it's not going to be enough, especially if you have folks going more vertical and throwing slams in at the top there, down to the 52 for Ancient Nightmare. But it seems like that basket is now going to be closing it. The folks of Star Cookie now collapsing in onto Ancient Nightmare's platform here. They're trying to put up a really good fight and actually enticing members to come off of platform, but still providing enough of poking damage to take folks out, but you lose one in the process, so you want to be really careful if you're going to try to be pushing up here, and kind of slow and steady wins the race. And you have your other power clam user going down, and the second going down with only one other person there to respond. So 80 points there, only one power clam going in. It might be a one-clam push. But How To is doing their best with the Zipcaster to open it up, though. They're on a 3 splat streak, almost going into 4, finally now going down. The second power clam makes landfall there, but it's not going to be enough to change the lead 60 to 52 with just 2 minutes and some change left to go.
Yeah, that was really impressive. Just knowing, like, you're putting so much effort into getting these splats, which, like, you're Zipcaster, that's what you're gonna do. You're just gonna cause chaos and realize you're probably gonna go down. But they were so close to getting the lead here. And speaking of the lead, StarCookie once again might be in a good spot. There were 3 players down. Booya's gonna go up along with that Sorella Brella push. 2how's going to be getting it in. They are not going to take the lead just yet. Finally, they get another power clam in from Weirdo, I believe. Weirdo's going to be jumping out from that as well. A lot of clams here. Ash is trying to get one in. It's just going to be the Edit who is holding some clams, and they're going to be backing up. So a great push. Now Toho is going to be trying to pop and push this crab to give themselves some pressure and some paint. And they have a minute and a half to work with. They can make it happen, but they just can't go. They can't have a player disadvantage, especially against 2how.
Yeah, no player disadvantage can be had here, but 2how is already quick to respond. Now throwing a power clam in for StarCookie. Sin is there to follow up and still maintain a movable wall to protect the folks of StarCookie from getting a little bit closer there. Now down to the 5. We're in single digits here. Ashes is going to do a little more damage, but the Booyah Bomb's not going to come to fruition. So Toho once again having a power clam in their clutches, but still, it just seems like StarCookie is still quicker on the team fight. Like, they initiate the team fight a lot faster than Ancient Nightmare can, even with specials in tow. It's a really, really tall ladder to climb up if you're Ancient Nightmare.
Specials in tow and specials in Toho. Got him. Was that good?
No.
I don't know.
Not your best. Not your best.
All right. Well, hey, 30 seconds left as we get this match going. Toho's going to be jumping back here. And again, they have more paint on the ground. It's going to be another jump. Both of these players are like, you know what? We just got to regroup by our base. We got to make sure that we have our ducks in a row. We want to go back here. But Ancient Nightmare, that's going to put them in a slightly better position. And again, they do have one power clam. They have some support claims. It's not going to be enough for them to take the lead because they essentially have to get a knockout in this position. You got to avoid that Zuka, though. 2 are going to go down from Ancient Nightmare. That's going to be ESM jumping in, going down overtime. Looking pretty bleak here for Ancient Nightmare. Just 2 players trying to push up. 1 are going to go down. 2how is going to be using that Zipcaster. But I don't think that's going to be enough because StarCookie able to score on their own. They are going to be winning the set 3-0, moving on to Grand Finals.
Very much proving why they are seeded number 1 in this tournament, and now finding themselves in the Grand Final seat. Very exciting stuff if you're StarCookie. Ancient Nightmare really had a struggle against this team, and you can tell too that there's a little bit more that needs to be done at the drawing board before we can maybe come back into this type of area. But that is to say, Ancient Nightmare put up a really intense fight, hoping for them to come back next time. But from the Ink Up 100, that is going to be the end for them. And StarCookie is looking ahead to fight Agenda in the finals match there. And Agenda is once again the 3rd seed in the tournament here. VectorQry finding themselves against Ancient Nightmare in the 3rd place match.
Yeah, so the 3-0 with Agenda against VectorQry, that's got to be impressive. And we have a gauntlet of a set coming up with this one. What was Agenda's record going into Top Cut? I'm going to check that out right now.
They've won all 5 of their sets that they've played so far today.
They've only dropped one game.
One game. They've
only
dropped one game. So.
Right. Yeah, so they're going to have a challenge here against StarCookie with how dominant StarCookie has been. StarCookie, I feel, for all the teams we've seen so far, StarCookie's been the most polished. And again, they've had weapons that we don't typically see very often. I'm really thinking of the Glugas. We don't typically see Glugas at all, and they've done a very...
That wasn't a first choice. That was a change to that.
Right. And then Tu Hao, I mean, just with the Zipcaster, oh my goodness, like just causing chaos, getting the splats. So they did a very good job as well, kind of leading the team with some aggression. Love to see it.
The amount of inputting, also, like the amount of input traffic that you need to go through to be zipcasting that quickly and efficiently. That there's something that remains to be said about that type of footwork that you're doing with your thumbs. Yeah.
I personally hate playing a zipcaster weapon. I'm so bad with it.
It's hard. It's hard.
It's so hard. And it's like they're paired with chaotic weapons typically, like Stamper. So I think you just live for the chaos when you play a weapon like that and have that special.
Well, I think while we wait to get our bracket set up, to be set up for our finals match for you all, I think we'll take a brief break to go and get a little bit of refreshment, use the restroom if you have to, stand up maybe. My gosh, if you've been sitting for a while, maybe stand up and straighten out your spine. That could be really useful to you. But you don't want to go far because we have grand finals coming up next for From the Ink Up 100. Don't go too far. We'll see you in just a couple minutes.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to From the Ink Up 100. Very brief break. We're getting ready for our final match here, Star Cookie versus Agenda. Star Cookie.
100.
Yes, the number 1 seed versus Agenda. We mentioned Agenda has only dropped 1 game going into this set. Star Cookie has been very dominant so far and got a 3-0 that we just saw on stream against Ancient Nightmare. So, still a best of 5, starting off with our daily special. Look at that. Splat Zone Ship Cargo Co.
I'll take that with a side of this beverage is a little too hot. Can you please remake it? Thank you.
My steak is too buttery. No, my is that when the steak is too juicy? Lobster is too buttery. Anyways, all right. Shut up. Okay. All right. So we do have a change in the Stamper coming up from Star Cookie. So we're not going to have the vanilla Stamper this time. We're going to have the stickers Splatana Stamper, if you will. So Tu Hao is going to be using that with the Booyah Bomb. 2 are going to go down, and I think I'm going to be scared of that. Now, I realize you probably want Booyah for zones. You just want to try and get that quick cap. And to be honest, this is a pretty small zone. I don't know if one Booyah I don't think it can solo neutral, but it can do a really good job. And Agenda, speaking of good job, Agenda was really quick to clean up some of Star Cookie. They aren't overextending that much, which I don't blame them. They want to get some of their backlines in a better position. By the way, they have a Zinc Mini and a Hydra. So 2 Splatlings out on the field. And Vanilla Hydra, not a weapon we see very often.
Yeah, Vanilla Hydra doesn't really rear its head too often in the tournament scene, but Agenda's really making it work in this situation here. And you're right, the Booyah Bomb doesn't really take the zone entirely, but my goodness, it does do the job. If you need something, it will get the job done. And so far for Agenda, it's been working out. However, Star Cookie now finding the advantage here. And it really seems like Star Cookie has usually started off on the back foot in the different matches that we've been watching them playing in so far. But then they end up winning the whole frickin' thing. So, I mean, it remains to be seen. But even when they lost it very briefly there, Star Cookie was able to pick it back up. 3 members, though, going down. So Agenda's looking to try to lock it out right now.
Yeah, and they have more paint on the map this time than they did before. So they're in a much better position this time. They're allowed to shark and push forward just a little bit more, and they also have a better opportunity at building some of their specials too. So we can see Shunk here is just waiting in the bubble, trying to not overextend a little bit, but now Bean is going to have to retreat just as Star Cookie's trying to push in now. Cooler's going to be deployed. Sin trying to just recap, help get rid of some of the penalty points, and they're doing a good job. But Agenda, again, they are just very quick on how they want to attack and approach, and they are doing such a great job flanking.
Yeah, I really appreciate Dorado trying to push a fight on this right-hand side. A couple of their other members tried to help them follow up. And regardless of 2 of them going down, it still took time for Star Cookie to take the zone back into possession. They don't have as much painting power on their side, and I really do wonder if the Booyah Bomb has been really helpful for Star Cookie here, because it really seems to me that How using that Zipcaster has been such a good special for this comp to really play around with. But I mean, I say that now, and again, we're seeing that Star Cookie is taking fights at different points in the stage here, and they still got it down to the 55 mark. Agenda still now holding possession, but it takes a while for Star Cookie to come back from the zone being taken from them. Like, they're able to get a really significant amount of points under their belt, but for them to take it back from Agenda, it still takes them a significant amount of time. It takes more setup. It takes more setup with this comp.
Right, it does, just with how the weapons are built. So that's going to be a tricky thing to factor in. And How, again, just kind of doing exactly what we saw them do before, which is, you know what, I'm going to strike at one area, I'm going to immediately move to the next area so I can get in a better position. And again, Star Cookie's doing a great job not overextending. They're going to be able to take the lead here right now. Yes, they can. Booyah Bomb coming out just in time. Some of their players are going to go down, but they are extending this lead. They want to do it as long as they can. Only going to get to 18. That's going to be a wipeout, so this might be the last moment for Agenda, who has to hold on. And they only had about 20 penalty points with these 27 remaining. That's not a lot relative to the score remaining, and not much that they're going to have to get down after they are able to clear some of these penalty points. They do, so Agenda now ticking down, taking the lead and keeping this offensive power, so that's great. We'll see what Star Cookie can do. 3 are going to go down, so Star Cookie going to be getting this zone. 30 seconds left, a lot of penalty points, but they need to be on their A game for these last 30 seconds.
Yeah, and the conditions, I was trying to say the additions were ideal. The conditions were ideal for Agenda to be getting it down to the single-digit mark there. Star Cookie, though, now holding on to possession with 2 members going down. Agenda, though, is, again, they're just quicker to respond. They're way quicker to follow up and respond. You have Shun taking up the side there and already painting over that Booyah Bomb. The Booyah Bomb didn't really provide too much coverage, and even with a follow-up from Star Cookie, it's not going to be enough there. Agenda's going to be sailing us into game number 1. Okay, so Falco, we were saying that Star Cookie is a little bit more polished, but I'm starting to actually wonder a little bit different, because Star Cookie doesn't have a perfect record either. They also dropped a game in their group stage. So
right.
It makes me wonder if Agenda maybe has the keys to success here to kind of knock Star Cookie off their game a little bit.
What Agenda did, the best part of that was at the very end with the jumps. That jumping position was absolutely crucial, because a lot of Star Cookie, they were anticipating players running in from spawn. Okay, we're going to ink our side of the zone first. We're going to slowly push forward. But the jumps came from up on that ledge, and then 2 players... 2 players from Agenda were able to just drop on the side and take out both of those players down, and got the wipeout at that time too. So that was huge. That was huge for Agenda, and like you said, they probably have the tools to get this win, and they played that very well. But again, with Rainmaker, Museum d'Alfonsino as our next map and mode combo, I mean, things can spiral. Things can spiral on any stage, but this is one I'm thinking of. Again, we talked about how the checkpoints are just kind of easy. You get past them, and then it's a brand new game. Same situation as this time comes up.
Yeah, and I'm wondering too if we're gonna see any weapon changes coming out here. It kind of seems like for Star Cookie that after that Gluga was swapped over, like it's been a staple. It hasn't been swapped back out since, so it kind of just seems like that's been really working out. For the folks in Star Cookie until now, until today, and there is going to be and vacuum versus vacuum, by the way. So didn't get to see that earlier in the competition, but we will be seeing it now in Grands.
Yeah, and then the mini coming out this time, vanilla mini, and custom tri slosher too. So vac versus vac will be it's going to be these pushes like right here, right after this first checkpoint, because it's such a narrow space between these bumpers and the spinner. Shunk is going to be getting 2. That's going to be good to try and keep up some of the offense, but 2how staying alive through all of that, allowing Agenda to pop, but knowing when to back up, knowing where to position themselves. Can they stay alive here? No, it's going to be the mini that's taking them out too. So again, a lot of ground made up here for Star Cookie, but they might be losing it just as fast as they regained it.
Yeah, and I want to point out too, we're back to the Zipcaster for 2how, so a lot of good surface area to utilize here for something like Zipcaster. The first checkpoint, though, being popped by Agenda, and still there's not really a lot of sign of Star Cookie to be in the middle section here. They're still going to be pushing up on the left-hand side, though, but a very brief Rainmaker pickup. It wasn't quite there yet. There wasn't quite enough free space for them to pick up the Rainmaker and feel success in that pickup as well, because Agenda is already there to respond. That's Shun once again taking 2 members down with the stamp, constantly with Shun taking 2 members down with their stamper. It keeps opening the gateway here for Agenda to get the Rainmaker back onto the platform, and the vacuum fight has finally been initiated. There's another vacuum for Star Cookie as well, but it seems like Agenda is finding more success, and the Booyah Bomb is just going to extend that a little bit more.
Yeah, they were trying to go on that walkway, which it's so risky to do, but if you can pull it off, it's almost a guaranteed a home run, because your opponents are going to have to retreat and back up, and at that point, you're above their podium, it's too late, and that's exactly where they were trying to use the vac. So A for effort, and they stuck the landing. They made it work. They got there. They got to 35, but this is where Star Cookie's really going to have to figure out how they want to approach this. You know, they haven't netted any points yet. They still have to get past their checkpoint, and anytime they regroup, they just don't have control of mid. So Ash is going to have to really do a vac to protect themselves. Able to take 1 out, take 2 out, but now they're not in a good spot. Shunk is able to get past that first checkpoint location again, waiting for the rest of their teams, and Agenda is able to do all this without a player advantage because one of the members on Star Cookie was able to take them out, but it was like, you know what, you go and distract them, I'm going to push the Rainmaker, I'm going to carry it, we're going to try and just make this a very slow and steady push, and that's exactly what Agenda's doing.
Yeah, and this is where we saw 2how really dominate last time with that Zipcaster. They were able to make contact with Shun and take them down at the 27 mark. Ashes is going to be pushing the Rainmaker out of harm's way off the plat here, and they're going to try to solo it up the ramp here, but not going to make too much headway down to the 78 mark there. 2how was there, and Sin is right behind them as well on the coattails. Dorado is going to try to push up and defend a little bit. There's a vac also there to defend, but the first checkpoint for the Star Cookie need to pop it, and
they need to go.
Yeah, this is where the keys of the house are going to be handed over very quickly.
Actually, I don't know, because I was saying they need to go and like pop the Rainmaker. If they didn't have that checkpoint, they would definitely have the lead, maybe even the knockout. But it's like, that's the reason why there's these checkpoints, you know, just so the lead isn't given up that quickly, and it's just unfortunate where it came out. Can they take the lead? Barely. Wow. Star Cookie. Ash is able to just wiggle their way in to net the lead. That's exactly what you need to do if you are just a few units behind. Just go all in, throw all your bodies towards a Rainmaker. You want to get that lead, then you immediately want to set yourself up on defense. You might get splatted, but We'll see what Agenda can do to come back, because there's going to be a vac used in the back. Can Strunk get the lead? No, but okay, I don't know what's going to happen here. It's just going to be Dorado who's alive with the pop. No, they're going to go down, but some jumps coming in. A great effort. I think it's finally going to end for Agenda.
Yeah, that was really close, but it was hasty. It was really hasty because Sin was behind them the entire time. You could see the 2 members of Agenda that were left standing with Sin literally like cutting off their exit with their tent shield so that they had nowhere else to run. So really hasty movement from Agenda, but not like they couldn't do it again, because it was very quick of them to try to jump that fast. But I mean, it was a very close touch with the like changing the lead there, even though there was only 2 points in the way. But still, Star Cookie, they're going to be closing the gap with just a 2-point lead, putting us into a 1-to-1 scenario.
Yeah, that was a good win there for Star Cookie, coming back at the end to get it. Oh man, a lot of chaos in that last minute too. I love to see it. I'm just thinking about how that checkpoint. I swear Star Cookie could have pushed it further if it was already broken, but it took them a while to get to that point. It took them about 3 minutes in to finally pick up the Rainmaker and make a push. And you know, that's the tricky part about maybe playing it safe a little bit too early on. You don't want to sacrifice or forfeit anything that could prevent you from taking the lead later on. But yeah, crazy game as we move on to game 3 and Blitz Inkblot.
Inkblot, Art Canopy, Clam Blitz. I think that Star Cookie has a really solid offensive pressure when it comes to Clam Blitz, and we got to watch it a little bit earlier in their last set in the semifinals. So I'm curious how Agenda is going to try to adapt to that, especially we're going to be seeing Two House sticking with that Zip Caster special on the regular Stamper. The Gluga's here to stay for Star Cookie still as well. And still Agenda running that double Splatling composition. You still have Shun playing on that vanilla mini, and again, why would they change? Because their stamps have been so key for Agenda to make really big plays so far in this matchup. So I mean, why, if it ain't broke, don't fix it? Because already you have 2 members of Agenda infiltrating the base of Star Cookie, but again, Star Cookie is already 2 steps ahead.
Yeah, Star Cookie knew that, like, okay, their Agenda's pushing up. We don't want to be pincer too hard that their specials are going to obliterate us. And Star Cookie, again, played that pretty well. You let Agenda throw their bodies to you first, and then you respawn to get in and have more than just a power clam. So that's going to net them some points. Of course, it's not the 60 mark a lot of teams aim for, but it's a good counter for what Agenda brought first. And I think if you're Star Cookie, you like that play. You got a minute off the clock. You showed, hey, we played our defense, and then we played our offense and got some score. We're proud of that.
Yeah, we'll take it in stride. And but Agenda is already going to be very quick to try to respond to this too. Shun, I'm not sure why they backtracked their first little push there. There was nobody there to stop them, and they could have popped it a little bit earlier, but maybe there was just something out of the corner of the eye that made them feel unsafe. Down to the 71, though, for Agenda, a really quick basket pop. Weirdo was gunning it for the basket of Agenda very quickly after that their basket was closing, but Dorado was there to respond very quickly as well. That's 2 members of Star Cookie going down. It just seems very hasty. We're at a point where people are starting to play a little bit hasty, but which I'm not sure why, because we still have so much set left.
Yeah, it could be the nerves set in too. Game 3, tied 1-1. We've been playing for 3 hours plus at this point. I could see that's what's going through their mind too. How able to get 1 claim in, gets 2 to follow up. They're going to finally be taken down. That's by Dorado, who's able to chase out Weirdo too back to their base. So lead still in favor of Star Cookie right now, but Agenda, again, extremely quick on how they want to try and come back. Now there's still a lot of blue ink that's just kind of scattered around the stage too, that Agenda might not want to try and clean up and make sure that Star Cookie isn't pushing too far forward, but Agenda, for the most part, has been playing this team effort push that has been pushing forward, and it's been working out for them. Of course, they had their 2 players with the power claims leading the way, not necessarily ideal in that situation, but able to still keep up some of the pressure and slow down the game a little bit.
Well, I'll tell you right now, if I'm Agenda and I need to topple StarCookie down to the rubble, I need to be taking out Tuhao, because Tuhao is everywhere all at once. Everywhere I've seen Shun try to go, Tuhao is there to respond. Sin is on their coattails right behind them. So if you want to be toppling the offense of StarCookie, you have to be taking out their lead offensive player, which to me seems to be Tuhao in this situation. Ashes has kind of been on the outskirts a little bit. But they've also been a key player when it counts. But still, it seems like this push has always been led by Tuhao. And okay, Loaf Swag might be the one to try to close it out here, but throwing that wall on the ramp is going to be a really major stopping point. They're going to be able to break the basket there, get it open to the 65. They eliminate the penalty. Fiend is going to try to help follow up there. There's nobody with clams to follow up. Okay, there we go. Somebody threw some clams in there for the lead to now be taken by Agenda. That was Shun also on top, making it around on top. Kind of once again taking something from Tuhao's playbook, because Tuhao consistently keeps getting up behind the bats area and just watching to see from StarCookie who is going to be coming out of that respawn area. So I think Agenda is going to be kind of copying of what StarCookie has been doing.
Yeah, they've been doing a really good job with this. Now I'm really nervous about this attempted push here that we saw a jump closer to the basket that was going to be extremely unprotected. And StarCookie now kind of in that panic position here of, okay, what do we want to do? We have one power clam, but we don't really have a plan quite yet because we haven't had 4 of our players alive, so we don't know how to push us forward. And Shrunk is going to be jumping back and then jumping back forward into the zone with a stamp. A good decoy there says, hello, I am right here taking out Weirdo. Question is, can they stay alive in this corner? Is Tuhao going to take him out? Tuhao does take them out. And we'll see if this push will help extend the lead for Agenda. Now you score now, you're going to give StarCookie pretty much a guaranteed Mercy Clam at this point. But we've seen how well Agenda's been able to shut them down. We'll see what happens in overtime.
Yeah, it seems like the timing of that was a little unfortunate with giving them a Mercy Clam to keep the game going. But StarCookie having 20 clams in their possession in this overtime push here. We're over halfway done, and nobody is close to the basket. But Sin is going to try to open it up, but it's not going to be enough. And there is the spinning clam. You can mark it down on your bingo cards. StarCookie's push just stopped way too soon, put it to an end way too soon. Agenda is going to be taking us into match point.
Yeah, that's something you always hate to see, something that lives in your nightmares whenever you don't get it through, is just that spinning clam in overtime. Ugh. Hate to see it. Hate to see it when you're StarCookie. Yeah. Great win. Great win, great comeback. From Agenda. And again, we talked about how polished they are too with these pushes and how well that they can hold their ground. They did a great job with that throughout the entire game.
I couldn't agree more. They did a wonderful job throughout the entire game, and I think it's really hard to come back from a comeback like that. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to come back from something like that, because it's like, okay, they just hit us back even harder. We have even less time to try to turn it around. It's like there's a little bit of hesitancy and also just a little bit of change in the brain chemistry of how you're thinking about it. So going into this game 4, we're on Undertow Spillway playing tower control here. Once again, if you're StarCookie, I need to be throwing everything in the kitchen sink to try to keep myself on the board here.
Yeah. Just like knowing when you to push forward. Okay, so we're changing the stamper. We're going back to the sticker Splatana. Yeah, and the Zinc Mini's coming out, and also the Hydra. The other Hydra's coming out too. So that one is the Torrance Hydra Splatling. With actually I forget what the kid. Okay, it has Bubbler. So more of the defensive rather than the Booyah. You know, you sacrifice. Do they have a GG Booyah still?
They have double bubble.
They do have double bubble.
So yeah, they're going for mobile defense.
Yeah, interesting. It's working out for them for now. Getting to that second checkpoint pretty much uncontested. Dorado and one of their teammates set up in a very good spot here. Okay, we talk about the spiral here. Agenda making quick work of this first push that they have. Getting down to 30, that is very impressive.
Yeah, that was really, really quick of them to get down to the 27 mark already. We're like just barely touching that third checkpoint there. Star Cookie, though, finally able to infiltrate into the stage. You can see Sin on the left-hand side here. That's a Kraken over in the front chasing Dorado. Ashes on the Kraken. The tower now back at the center stage. 2 specials online for Star Cookie, but 2 members down at the same time, making it 3 members down too. It just seems like Star Cookie has progressively just losing a little bit of steam here, Falco, as we've gone game by game.
Yeah, you know, when the game starts off slow and not in their, or fast and not in their favor, it's going to be hard for them to kind of come back from that. They finally do get the wipeout there, but again, that's as it is approaching that third checkpoint. So, you know, that's good they didn't get it further than that. And this might be your first time on offense, too. You get the wipeout, you kind of regroup in mid, and you're able to net some points. And again, this first checkpoint typically is not very difficult if some of these players are pushed back on the side. You have some players pushed on the left, some on the right. You want to go for them before the players, but look at that. That is going to be some key picks there against Agenda, but not much support now on the tower for Star Cookie as they were trying to go down, I think trying to get that Kraken out. That was the 96 Deco that tried to deploy it, but went down just shy. So only pushing the 66, just shy of that second checkpoint. Not quite what they wanted, but they're at least setting themselves up and have not lost too much of mid.
Yeah, they haven't lost too much of mid at all because they basically just got to restart. The Ashes going down on that Kraken kind of lost the momentum that Star Cookie needed, but now they have a point where they restart from the beginning, maybe now a third time, as Ashes takes 2 members down. They're forcing Dorado into the left-hand side, along with How there, too. And you can see that Fiend is trying to maybe defend this elbow area as well. But to me, it seems like the offensive players of Star Cookie are so quick to move around the stage and kind of reposition themselves that Agenda's having a hard time keeping up. But it's like Agenda has way more space that they can maintain in between themselves and Star Cookie, that it's hard for Star Cookie to actually close the gap.
They haven't had much control to do so, and you know, I'm thinking like they haven't had any strategic plays where they have 2 people flanking. It just seems like a survival instinct that they're doing to kind of stay alive at this point, and protecting the tower from moving forward at all. So I don't know what the end. I mean, the goal for them is to win, obviously, but with how Agenda has been playing, it's hard to come up with a game plan when you know you don't have much time. You know, if you do want to try and make something work, you have to get past that second checkpoint and keep the tower going as well. So I think Star Cookie, I mean, they have that 2-player advantage right now, but you really need to go after and push members of Agenda back, like especially Fiend, push them back to the ledge so you can at least get to mid, get to your checkpoint. If you don't have your special, you can have some time to build it up, and Star Cookie had to use an offensive Kraken too to try and get some of this going, but this is still more than what they've had most of the game. Not quite a player advantage just yet. A defensive bubble coming up from Agenda, Booyah Bomb coming up from How. Not much player support here, but still having a player advantage.
Yeah, the Booyah Bomb kind of acting as a smoke screen at that too. Second checkpoint now has fallen for Star Cookie, and you have multiple members positioned on this tower, which normally isn't as ideal. If you can position that Umbrella shield, though, that could be really advantageous. But it only took a little bit of effort there and some grease in the squeaky wheel to get a 1-point lead for Star Cookie. So now Agenda is scrambling with only seconds left remaining to try to turn this lead around before it's a tied set once again.
Yeah, Star Cookie knocking on the door to push it to a game 5. Overtime has started. Bubbles on the tower. Fiend. The next bubble comes out. We talked about the double bubble combo, the Booyah Bomb. One of them's going to have to jump off. They both go down. Star Cookie with the amazing comeback here in the last minute, getting the win by 1. We are going to a game 5.
You know, it's one of those things where, like, it's like, oh, like, it was perfect, but it was like, but it was perfect. They had the correct specials in order to do something like that. And they knew that they were like, even if it's just 1 point, all we have to do is throw the Booyah Bomb, and then that's it. That's curtains. So it really was a challenge of longevity to the defense.
And
So
I'll be the first to admit, I critiqued the double bubble comp, and I was like, oh, I get it. You want to have defensive power, but the fact that they perfectly timed the bubbles to use it one after another, of course, didn't survive that Booyah Bomb. It was extremely close, but I don't know what you can do at that point. You're facing a Booyah Bomb. You have to get off the tower. So that was incredible. Umami ruined splat zones. Going back to zones for game 1. Let's see what happens here.
We've made it full circle. We've made it full circle through modes. We're in game number 5. Both these teams are tired. We want to put this to bed. It's 11:30 where Falco is. It's 8:30 where I am. We're wanting to close this Friday night out with a bang, and Agenda and Star Cookie are both inches away from the FTIU 100 win.
Yeah, Sticker Splatana still coming out. We do have the is that double ink bat? No, that's not. Okay, I was like, wait a minute, no, that's not. But I was okay with the undercover Sorella, or the Tenda Sorella Grella. Yes, we still have one back there coming in. But Agenda quickly able to take the zone there. Star Cookie trying to counter it now. Sin able to get a nice pick here, taking control now of this left zone. Are they going to be able to get any players on Agenda? No, Zuka's not going to net anybody right now, but they're able to push up and extend this zone push here. With the Booyah Bomb coming out, unfortunately for Agenda, they didn't use the Booyah on the zone, but for their benefit, they did get 3 players, and Star Cookie got the wipeout. Welcome those of you coming in from Woody tonight. You're watching Game 5 action here in Grand Final. Saf and I are having a great time. Star Cookie and Agenda been going back and forth at it.
Yeah, one thing to note too, Dorado has opted to switch off of that 96 gal, and they're going with something a little bit faster with the 52 gal, and using a little bit more of a better disruption tool with that killer whale as well. I really like that coming out from Agenda, and so far the keys to success have been very much in their favor. The Kraken is going to be opening the gateway though for Star Cookie to try to come out and defend the zones here, but I think it's just a little too hasty. Star Cookie has been playing way too hasty going into these final games here against Agenda, because they already have lost members twice now going into the wipeout territory here and you already have members of Agenda being pushed up and calling these members out. I mean, it's like you said, I think that's it. It's
the Booyah in the zone though. Oh,
okay. We were like, maybe, but no, that is going to be Agenda's game through and through. A 3-2 matchup here from the Ink Up 100. Agenda is going to be your winner.
Yeah, a great play. We saw the wipeout there with about 30 units remaining, and that will typically seal the deal. And I love how Dorado was like quickly just trying to scramble to ink anything they possibly could to build up that killer whale, just to fire it at the end. You always got to do that. Build up one more special to get it.
Just give me something. Just
give me something and let me use it. Yeah. So, like Saf said, Agenda winning from the Ink Up 100, the inaugural event here on IPL. Hopefully a lot more from the Ink Ups to come here as well, because we love it. We mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast for our portion, Saf and I, we have a soft spot for From the Ink Up. It's the tournament that we've played the most in together. Not recently, unfortunately. It's been over a year, but 2023 went hard. 2023 Rebels for Reba went hard, and From the Ink Up, we'll say that. And it's been a great time to be here on the mic. And thank you for a lot of the staff who have maybe merged over to IPL. I know there's a lot of crossover from what was on Under Pressure in IPL, so we appreciate that with the stream. And also thank you very, very much to our streamer Benjamin. Did a fantastic job. We always appreciate that. But that's gonna be it. Agenda's the winner from the Ink Up 100, Saf.
Yippee! 100, 100-ino. That's so many. Do you know how many gumballs you could buy with 100? That's insane.
Yeah, no.
Listen, guys, you can find Falco and I in the Splatoon tourney archives. You can find us both on Blue Sky. You can find Falco hanging out with his with his CCA team sometimes. You can find me cleaning up trash in the ocean sometimes, and or looking for mushrooms in the woods. But first and foremost, you can always find us in the realm on Splatoon Tourney. And also this year for the NA League, you can find Falcon and I hanging out in the NA League. We're around. If you want to find us, we're around. Don't worry. We love you from the Ink Up. We love you, IPL. So much. That's it for me. From the Ink Up 100. We'll see you next time. Thank you.
Take care.
Take care.